Eons ago, during the age of the Magi, the world was something other. Magic is all that there was and all that was needed. Legend states that a cataclysmic event brought a great frozen age to the world of Lacrin, and soon after, a new era dawned. Though they say the ancient magics of the Magi still lie buried and lost, scattered around the world, lying in wait for those with the courage to wield it to discover. Welcome to the world of Lacrin and the continent of Thelmecia. Noble knights, roaming orcs, mischievous goblins, and idyllic wondrous lands, just waiting to be explored. Now, a new peril aspires to plunge Thelmecia into despair once more, but not before a few unheard-of heroes take their chance at triumph. Welcome to Table Story, Darkfire.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. It's Table Stories Darkfire, featuring me and some other lesser types, including Admiral Holdo, is that her name? From The Last Jedi.
Fuck off, it's been fun, bye!
Oh no, don't do it! No, she's gone, everybody. It looked more like Admiral Holdo before the ears went on, but we're gonna go ahead and it's the long neck.
Wait, what was the name? You guys finally figured out the name. What was it?
Admiral Holdo is her name. The worst character of all time. Hi.
Pumpkin Bear, do you look like her?
Just today, because she's got the pink hair and the like.
No, John. No, she doesn't.
The long neck.
Oh, okay.
She 100% does. The long neck. The long neck, long sleeve thing. What is it called? Turtleneck. That's what it's called.
I am burning this turtleneck. After today's episode, I will never wear it again.
Well, you just don't wear it in with the pink wig.
Okay.
You know, she had stupid hair. I hate her.
Really
I hate her. I'm
getting
sorry.
her.
I'm trying not to let my hatred for The Last Jedi bleed in, but as soon I think about
Today's
it.
the day that I die. My character dies.
In Stygian Gate, PB was like, you need to come up with a thing that is a rage stimulus for your character, like something that really upsets you and sends you into a rage. And the only thing I could think to put in there was The Last Jedi.
Like actually,
it's legitimately on my sheet.
And I was like, no, you gotta do something else. And he's like, no, I don't wanna.
Well, hello everyone. Players, how have you been this week? You had a great week? John looks like he's had a great week. Look at him.
Dude, I got into character, man. I totally
looks
shaved
like a
the
child
He
again.
looks good.
He looks like
beard. I'm back.
he looks
I'm
100
back
years
to my normal self.
younger. How's your groceries?
Honestly, fuck off, Brad. I'm out. I'm out. That's rude, dude. All right.
No,
I made it back.
hey, how is that rude when you were the fucking idiot that left all your groceries on the top of your car? I read that tweet and I went, John fucking Sandman.
Listen to me, guys. Listen.
What were you? What were did you have? Did you even have Bryce?
Yes, that's the reason.
That's
so
the
for anyone who
reason.
doesn't know the story, I'll give
a
you
little bit.
Give
a
him the
bridge story.
Yeah.
Bryce, my 1-year-old son, was freaking out. It was just me and him in the market. I had 3 bags of groceries and Bryce in my hand. Brought him to the car. He was going nuts, like literally insane out of nowhere. Like I stabbed him with a tack. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put these groceries on top of the car real quick, put him in his car seat. You're good. And then like I grabbed him his water, grabbed him all these toys. I was like, you're good. You're happy, kid. You're happy. Freaking out. And then I just got in the car and drove home 5 miles. And one of the bags made it.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Someone had to pick up all that shit too, right?
What was
Probably.
exciting was,
Somebody was like, free food.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, it was
maybe.
like I lost the milk, I lost the orange juice, I lost
Oh no.
like hot dogs. Like,
Nobody like honked at you to tell you
Must
to
have.
put on your
but
car.
I was so like in the zone. Like you don't understand when
He
you're
was in
like a
dad mode.
1-year-old.
He was in
Yeah,
dad
dad
mode, I get
I
it.
didn't care what anyone said. People probably were pointing at me. People were probably saying I didn't care at all. I was like, I need to get home.
Yeah.
The
Dude,
baby didn't quiet down. And by
I
the time
drove-
I got home, I went, fuck.
Dude, I drove to work once, and I got stuck behind a pickup truck that had some really shoddily loaded, like
Oh,
2x4s, like
That scares
2x4s,
That's like my
That's
fear.
scary.
and like furniture that was like taken apart or whatever, and they had a tarp over the top of it, right? And I'm fucking driving, and at the time I was driving a really old, like a big tank car, right? And all of a sudden, and I'm looking at this truck, and I'm like, man, you know when you get behind somebody and you're just like, let me go back like 4 or 5 more car lengths.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling back, and stuff just starts falling out of the fucking truck.
Oh my
Like,
god.
Huge pieces of wood just start falling out. I'm like, "Bang!" Holding down. He could have easily killed me. And I'm just holding the horn down. The guy's driving like no problem.
Nothing.
Like doesn't
It's just flying out.
stuff's just falling out of the back of the truck onto the street. I'm like swerving. And finally I get to the light. I pull up next to him like, dude. I'm like, what are you doing?
Wait, he didn't notice that whole fucking
The
time?
whole time I'm
No, yeah.
holding the horn down.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, dude, stuff is falling out of the back of your truck, man. You almost killed me, dude. And he's like, oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
He
That's
knew.
crazy, man.
I have a story for you. I'll be short, Brad. I'm sorry.
You do you.
Brad loves this.
I'm down.
So
I'm listening.
I have a really irrational, horrific fear of pigmen, which obviously they don't exist.
Whoa. What?
Like anthropomorphic pigmen, so like tall male bodies with pig heads, like in scary games and shit. That shit, I can't handle it. So anyway, so that's the background for this story. So I'm driving,
Got
and
some ideas.
there was a transport truck that was like turning left in front of me, and it ended up spilling over, and I shit you not, grown-ass pigs came out of the back of the thing and started like running across the street, and I'm like, this is something I absolutely
nightmare!
What the
I have to dodge real pigs right now that are like squealing, and oh god, it was
See,
awful.
those stories are way more intense than my groceries on top of a car. That's nuts. Mine is like, God, dad moment number 75.
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
Well then, so let's hope that you're better at D&D than real life.
Dude, we survived last week. Okay, that's
You
incredible.
Yeah.
did. It was very impressive.
Did you
I'm
think you
very
were gonna
happy.
TPK us? Like, no joke.
Yeah,
I
we
did, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured. I really thought one of you would probably die, at least. The one thing that I kind of find that is weird being a DM is that you realize how hardy players are. Like, you really think they're gonna die a lot. Or I do a lot of times. I'm like, man, they're screwed. And then like the power of a spell for something like a heal when you're down or something is really like unbelievably useful.
Huge.
And I forget every time that like the amount
really should've
of
died.
times that my parties in various games have come back from the very brink of death is insane. So player characters are often stronger than you think. DMs, don't be afraid to just throw something fucking unbelievably difficult at them, because they will sometimes come out of it. Sometimes, isn't that right?
But like
Wax
this
Steven?
week could be so much different. Like we'd all be re-rolling characters. We'd all be semi-bummed because we didn't really get to like.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was already
11 episodes good, but
If you go back and watch the VOD for the beginning part of that fight, I was mostly thinking about like how we were kind of laughing and joking a little bit, but I was in the back of my head, I was thinking, like, how am I going to restart this campaign? Because it's too early to just pack it in. Like, it needs to be restart, and I need to like reset them.
New caravan of characters
I needed
coming
to,
down the road.
figure out how to get you back onto what would essentially be the same quest. I sort of did plan for that though. So there is an ability that, like, one of the things that Hasmul said to you at the beginning, I think I've mentioned it before, but he said something like, "You're the best I can find at the moment."
yeah, he'll get more people if we fail.
He was just like,
Literally
"You were
he
the
said.
closest people to me when this thing went down, so I've grabbed you." So he, you know, if you died as an entire group, my kind of plan was to just kind of, and still is, kind of to just be like, 4 more people show up with braces on their wrists, you know, kind of thing. But we'll see. Hopefully you don't TPK.
Never.
You
Dude,
will-
we're the strongest people in the world.
There have been like 2 deaths already this week, though.
There have
On
been.
other games?
Yeah, can
both,
we get
No,
some
don't
like
say that.
rips in the chat?
both me.
Both Brad.
Are you serious, Brad?
Yeah. He lost 2 of his characters
2
in
of my
1 week.
characters in 1 week, dude. I lost my lovely boy. You see that in that chat there? If you're on a VOD, I'm sorry, but in the chat there is a tables to sip. Is my character Taldro drinking wine? Who's a paladin from Ragtags, and he got fucked up, really fucked up by some God, I don't even know what they're called. Purple fungus or something like that they're called. And it was really rough, really rough. I couldn't even DM meta because I didn't know what it was that was killing me. Like I had nothing. And
What
then,
show is that on?
That was on Ragtags,
Ragtag.
which is a D&D show on Thursdays run by BradWOTO. And then we have a brand new show called Sector 49, which is Judge Dredd. And I
You
played
died already on that?
episode 2. I'm playing a
No,
character
you
called
did not.
played a character
Well,
called
I mean-
Ketchup, who's a mutant. And
Name Ketchup?
Name Ketchup, yeah. He went running at a bunch of judges with a laser rifle firing at him. Like,
Why?
because
His head exploded.
it was just a bad plan that went worse and wrong and just.
Were you the only one who died?
Yeah. Well, I did it on purpose because it was in his sort of crazy head. The plan was to just avoid getting the other 2 killed. So he was just a distraction, and my whole character was pretty crazy and designed to do that kind of thing anyway. So it wasn't as big of a deal.
Is this the one you rolled really shitty on?
Yeah.
Yeah, the like
Oh, you're
you
glad he's dead.
He was designed to die, but I always do this thing where I make a character. I'm like, oh fuck this guy, I want him to die. I don't like him, and then like I'm kind of like, I kind of like this guy, and then his head explodes, and I'm like, oh no, not like this. So there you go. Spoilers for other Table Story shows. Apologies, everybody. But suck it up. Welcome to Table Story. My channel, I do what I want. Today, though, we're playing Darkfire, and you guys survived last week
Are we gonna
after all
tweet?
of that. After all of that, you did actually survive. Player characters are strong, especially at level 3. You guys are level 3 now, so you've got a little more gas in the tank to survive these things. You're not just little weaklings.
We're weak right now.
I won't lie, like I wasn't super concerned for 19 dying. The only thing that scared me was that you fucking nailed, like, what was it, 3 in a row, like 3 strikes in a row that like rolled above his 21 AC.
Oh yeah.
You've been really good at that with 19 in this campaign. First, in the dungeon, you fucked me up with rolls above that. Then on this, you know what? He's gonna
Brad's
die because
He's a hacker, dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit because I couldn't. I didn't have a dice on me last week. Like I didn't have a d20, so I just rolled on the screen. And I'm really glad that I did, because I feel like you guys wouldn't have believed me, like kind of with some of those rolls, because it was just 21 after 21 after 21. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm kind of glad sometimes when those fights roll out that like, because I generally don't roll on the screen because I find it just a little more difficult because I have too many things on my screen. So if I'm rolling here, then I don't need to have like 3 different things open. I can just open one thing or have a book open and roll with a dice. And I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just roll on the thing. That'll be fine. That was a tough encounter. So
All right, catch us up.
let's jump in.
Catch us up. Catch up.
F's in the
you don't have
chat.
any ketchup, John. It fell off your fucking car. So
Shut up! I didn't buy ketchup.
So last week's episode, which was mistitled by me in my notes, chapter 11, right? So you guys were already pretty much on the road. You were traveling with the 4 Roseguardian army types that were escorting the survivors of Drit, the town that exploded early on in the campaign, to Greenhill. You traveled with them for a little while, and then you came to a crossroads where they said they were continuing on to Greenhill, and you guys decided, much to their kind of confusion, that you would just continue to go to Roseguard. Linchpin catalyst things there is that Rin decided she really didn't want to go to Greenhill. She convinced Iridir convinced the 19, I think, and then you guys decided to go to Roseguard without. I'll give you the world map as well, so we can remember where you guys are in travel-wise. You didn't stop at Green Hill, which kind of made logical sense to go out of your way a little bit and go to this little waypoint, refuel, take a rest, buy some supplies, and then continue, but you didn't. Instead, you continued on the King's Road, blap, and went to, you encountered, well, basically you were being followed. One of the things that I want to know that I told Wack last night is that McKinnon was really nervous as well, by the way. She was like pacing up and down, and I think I said about 6 times, McKinnon looks really nervous, McKinnon looks really nervous, McKinnon looks really nervous, and all that you guys did was just laugh at Iridir trying to get his end away instead. And the reason that she was nervous, just a little meta, is that she had noticed that there was like all these like direwolf tracks. She's like, I'm scared that they're following us, right?
Why didn't you tell us?
Yeah, she should have told us, but.
Well, because Iridir spazzed her out. He just went
And I
over there.
thought she
with
was nervous because she was like really like in love.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm like. He bombed her mind. We'll say mind. He blew her mind, and that's why he didn't do it. So and then like probably like 10 minutes after she walked off, she was like, oh fuck, you know, like it's too late. So they continued to Green Hill. Then you guys carried on down the road. Basically, you guys, I gave you some travel tasks. I said, what do you want to do? 19 decided to forage for food. He doesn't eat, but he wanted to find food for everybody else. And I keep getting the reverb, Tiger. It's spazzing my brain.
Which is at the sound of the
Yeah,
game.
I keep getting the double music.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that it turned up.
Then
Sorry.
I asked who wanted to do perception checks for some reason that I will never understand, even though I must have said about 400 times that the world is very young and dangerous on the road. It's extremely dangerous on the road, guys. It's very dangerous on the road. It's very dangerous, both bandits and animals and monsters alike. I said, who wants to do perception checks? And only Iridir did. The other two just kind of like blithely waltzed along. Like, la, 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 la.
Listen.
Go on. Justify it.
Drift just was in this state of zoning out. So the character just didn't care what was that. He's so young and dumb and like, but still smart. But like in that moment, he'll never do that again. Okay, he learned
I feel
his
like
lesson.
yeah, you learned your lesson at least.
Yeah.
Iridir failed his perception check. And
Which could have given us the jump.
and it essentially meant that
Don't put this on me, okay? There's other characters.
at least he tried.
besides me.
It essentially gave the direwolves, which had been tracking you for a little while, the opportunity to jump on you, and they were literally jumping on you with like that was when you noticed them. They were in midair, landing on you and biting at you and eating you.
And hurting, dude, that first swing.
And it was a rough fight, and I rolled deadly as well, which meant you had 3 direwolves to deal with, which is very difficult to do at your level. After a very difficult fight, you guys all survived, and that's where we're going to pick up today. So you guys...
We pick it up right where we left off?
Yeah, I feel like you've done your foraging, which is that you found 3 direwolves full of meat. That's your forage for food, for sure there. And you've got 3 big old direwolf carcasses, pretty cut up, pretty messed up. The pelts are useless. I don't think you're going to be able to sell these pelts. I'll tell you that outright.
Cool.
They're for sure completely ruined. However, I can give you the battle map just to give your brains a refresher if you give me a second.
And the last one ran away, correct? We never killed him.
One did run away, yes, but they're not very intelligent, so you can imagine that it's probably not. Oh yeah, it's 2 direwolves. I'm really dumb. Let me put you on this so we can remember. Kind of forgot myself.
I thought the Drift was trying to hit it with an Eldritch Blast.
He can't.
I wanted to,
It
out of range,
went
out
down
of sight.
some plateaus, around some corners, you know, kind of thing. So you need to be able to see it.
Kill it.
Yeah. So 1 escape. So you have 2 direwolves on the ground, beat up, dead. One of them's very big, the other one a little smaller, still very, very large. There's enough meat in there to make a nice feast. I assume you're pretty beat up. Are you guys looking beat up? You guys looking hurt? Or are you guys
I
looking...
healed for a lot, but I'm sure everyone else is beat.
Yeah. Hurting for a squirting.
That was a bit difficult to deal with.
Yes. But we did it.
Well done.
That was amazing. We should have died. We should have died.
That was very close. Wasn't there another one?
Yeah, where did the third one go?
Appeared to have gotten away.
Off down there.
Hopefully it hasn't developed a taste for us.
I'm going to look for a good spot to set up camp. I think we could use some rest.
Oh, that would be a wonderful
Agreed.
plan.
Wait, if we got attacked here, don't you think more are coming?
Well,
Once again.
what are we gonna do? Run to the next town for 2 days straight? I think we have to rest after that.
We get in a tree?
We can probably find somewhere close to here with some good cover. Within, a 5-minute walk. Can I do a perception check or whatever you want me to do to see if there's anything around us that would just look like a good area, even outside of the square you have us in for camping, or like just a better spot that's not so wide open, Brad?
Yeah, give me a survival check. For the record, the other direwolf was very badly hurt when it ran off. So
I love how Tiger always wants to roll a survival check for like the opposite of what
anything
it's
other
for.
than a survival
And
check.
then when it's time to roll the survival check, he's like, "Can I roll perception?"
Well, I thought I was thinking perception because I want to literally look around.
Yeah. Perception is like a literal like look, smell type thing, not necessarily like what you do with that information. Survival 15 on the survival. Actually here looks pretty good. If you imagine like on this little map, let's say this like little plateau up here kind of thing that you can see. Like that area would probably serve pretty well for you guys in terms of where you've been walking along and heading along. It's been relatively flat ground. The place that you stayed with the army dudes before was kind of on a raised area with a couple of bushes to hide like a small campfire overnight, even though it's the middle of the day at the moment. The raised areas in these plains generally work better in terms of we can see stuff coming and hide or get away from it before it is upon us. Other than that, people tend to look for like little caves down by the river. But generally where you are is actually relatively good because you've got a good view around you. There's no deep forest or anything like that. It's been relatively like open plains for the entire travel so far.
If that's the case, then, well, to be honest, it's a very open area, and we're right in between two little mounds here. I don't have to sleep, so I could stay up. So I'm going to attempt to gather some stuff for a fire and get provisions together to build a... Sorry, that was a lot of work. I'm going to set up provisions and build a camp here. If any of you would like to help me, feel free to join me. And I want to kind of meander. I wouldn't say meander out, but kind of just start setting up camp, Brad. Kind of get things together for camp, for a fire, and so forth.
Yeah.
Kind of right in this general vicinity right here.
So
You
as
can,
he does that,
Yeah, go on.
or go ahead.
Well, you can just do that. It's not a thing you need to roll for.
No, I don't want to do that.
I meant-
As he does that, I sort of want to set up. This is just a fun little thing. I want to set up both the dead direwolves. I'd like to find like some sticks and some tree branches.
Mhm.
Oh my God, are you gonna
sorta-
prop them up?
Yeah, I sort of.
Oh
wanna
my
prop them
God,
up,
can I
like-
serve them tea? Shut up. Can we have a tea party? Yes.
You're propping them.
Yes, queen. Yes.
You're propping them up in like the most horrific way
Horrific, just like to defend us, like to scare off any.
on the road or in the camp.
No, so like where we
Oh.
are, like if we're in the middle here, I want to do like this side, northeast and southwest. Like I want them like covering our, like facing away from us. Like I'm gonna prop them up on like a branch, like go through their chin, and it's just like their arms gonna be up, and that's what I want to work on. Well,
Are you
That's
doing actual
clever.
thing.
Meanwhile, I thought you were gonna like prop them up into like a sitting position in the camp.
No, I'm making up. My sensei taught me this, so like I'm putting them in like a scary position to ward off any.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you absolutely can do that, and you do so over there. I mean, how long are you guys planning on resting? 1 hour or longer? An hour is a short rest, so you get anything back on a short rest, and you can use hit die to get HP back. You need to rest at least 8 hours. Doesn't necessarily need to be sleep.
What time of day is it?
It is. So you guys set off at 4 a.m. I think you guys traveled for
great.
3 hours to 7 a.m. when you guys got to Green Hill, and then I said you traveled for a few hours
2
after
hours,
that.
Probably like 10 or 11 or some shit.
So
Time for lunch.
probably approaching midday. Let's say midday.
Crap. So it's stupid to sleep.
You're probably not like tired. I mean, you would be somewhat tired because you guys only slept a little bit, but
We
it's
just lost all our spells. That's the problem.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, again, you don't need to sleep to do a long rest. You just have to not
You
do
just have
anything.
to be
crazy.
Like
relaxed.
8 hours?
I'll just RP it.
You
How
sit
about that?
around.
Yeah,
You sit around. You eat. You relax. You lay down. You read. You eat. Whatever. But if you do anything like heavy, like cast spells, fight a thing, or walk for too long, you know,
You
then
could cure meat, probably. Probably let it dry.
yeah, I mean, you can sit and do something like a
And let it-
downtime activity
let
in
the
those
meat
8
dry.
hours for sure. It's just as long as you're not doing anything insane, then it's a long rest.
I'd probably be okay with like a shorter rest. I'm not sure how the rest of you feel about that, but
I'm going to wait for RP to kick in before I answer that.
okay.
Um, what? Well, I don't know where he went, but the
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
As we say it, dude. Are you kidding me? Your timing, dude.
Anyways,
So good.
So
I think it would be smart for us to rest for a while. I have nothing. I cannot do anything. If I know we'll lose time, but I would vote that we rest for a while. And I'm basically reverting to a long rest is what my character's bringing up.
yeah, so
Well, if people are a bit tired, I can at least soothe your minds a bit as we rest.
I'm okay with that. Rin?
Yeah, I'm okay with a long rest. If you guys, if you want to sit, I can brew some tea for you if you'd like.
I guess that sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Love some tea, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're,
It
you're
does
welcome.
sound good. I
Yeah.
agree.
You make double? Can I get a double?
How about this? How about I make one pot and we just sit and enjoy that, and then I'll make another one when that one runs low. That way it's fresh.
Technically a double. Sounds great.
Yeah.
yeah, go on.
Well, one thing to be concerned about is if we do wait here for an extended period of time, then we would be traveling at night.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the
Also,
greatest of ideas.
if we-
Perhaps maybe for a short time and then we can set off.
I would prefer that. Also, with the animals that we have, these dead wolves here, I'm sure it's going to attract something.
Yes.
What is it that your song will do?
Oh, well, if I simply speak of a story and as company with my lute, well, then I think most of you will feel a bit better. Mechanically, I've pasted it in the chat there, so
It's for hit dice, basically.
yeah, you get an extra 1d6 if you spend any hit dice on the short rest.
I don't disagree. We should not travel at night. But I also want you to know, actually, real quick, Brad, I only need 4 hours for a long rest for me, don't I? Or some shit like that. Is that right?
Maybe
Elves do.
I think you're the same as the elf. Yeah.
elves do, and I think you have something like that. Yeah, pretty sure you
Yeah,
have something.
I would say that as long as we rest for around 4 hours, I can probably recoup all of myself. Could we do 4 hours? It'd be about it's about midday now. We still have a few hours of sun left, and maybe we could make camp to continue to the city. What say the rest of you?
Wait a minute. Are you guys telling me you're afraid of the dark?
No, I'm
No.
saying that it's more dangerous to travel at night.
Yes.
Fair.
Sometimes I am afraid of the dark, however.
Like when?
Like when there are large, scary animals and monsters in the dark. That's usually when I'm afraid of the dark.
Yeah, but I'll protect you, hero.
That's a nice thought. But will
Why
you
can't
protect
you
us if
be?
a horde of orcs show up?
Yeah, I will.
Good man.
I'm curse breaker.
That
He
you
says that.
are.
He says that, and you see 19 go into like a meditation mode. Like,
Sure, yeah.
like
Are you-
4 hours.
That triggers your meditation.
so are you doing a long rest still?
I think we're
4
doing.
hours.
I think we're doing the short rest 4 hours, and I think a couple of us are going to end up with everything, but a couple of us will only get the short
I
rest.
see. So it's your long rest.
Question for you, Brad, real quick before.
Yep.
When I hit level 3, did I get another spell slot?
Probably.
I know I had 2 to use,
Okay.
so I just wanted to know if I had 3 now.
You'll the sheet will do it for you, as long as it says you're level 3 in terms of spell slots. So if it says you're level 3 and it says however many spell
Pretty
slots you've
sure
got, that's what you get.
warlocks get like 2 for a long time.
Warlocks. So
Yeah,
you do get
it
your
just
spells
says-
back on a short rest.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, warlocks do. So you just after 1 hour passes, you are at full strength in terms of spell slots, because you don't have that many.
Right, I'm happy with that then. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. Rin, so is anyone like sleeping or anything? Are you guys actually like actively taking a watch or anything as well? Or are you just
Yes.
I'm gonna be playing my lute and sort of just telling a story. I think yeah, I'm gonna start noodling around on my lute, tuning it and just sort of taking my time, making sure that it's like in perfect condition as I can make it before I play. And I'm going to start telling a story. This is a story about one of my past escapades, if you are at all interested.
Yeah. I
You see
am.
19 wake back up for a second, eyes go wide because he's still watching everything.
Rin's in a meditative state, but she doesn't say anything.
I'm sitting right in front of Arrow Deer.
Brad, I'm going to keep watch as well, by the way, while I'm doing the thing, like usual.
So where to start? And it's one of those, like, I'm just kind of like playing different riffs, trying to figure out my mood before I start playing the appropriate story. And I say, everyone needs to find themselves. Everyone needs to take the time to get to know themselves. They need to find exactly who they are as a person. I think when I was younger, for me, that time was when I first picked up a lute. It was an interesting experience. I was absolutely atrocious. When I picked it up, everyone that I knew suggested that I had no talent at all. They said, Erodir, you should give this up. Perhaps try something else. Maybe there is another instrument that will capture your attention. Maybe there is some means of communication for your creative avenues that you could take besides the lute and storytelling. But I knew in my heart that I had found something special, that I had found a means to communicate my very soul to people. I knew that this was who I was immediately, despite being terrible at it. One of my close friends, I start to like tool like a sort of melancholy sort of sound, not be the focus of this story, suggested that I would be stuck and that I would never progress. They suggested that I would never capture the hearts of a listener. It broke my heart. It made me feel as if I was nothing, as if my very heart's desire would be something that I could never achieve. And I knew it was still for me. I gave up the lute for a time. I tried other instruments. I tried to sing. But always I knew that this was not the way to bear my soul. One day, I chose to pick up the lute again.
Yes.
And the string broke. I thought it a sign, more of the universe telling me to stop. But I didn't give up. I restrung my lute. I took a deep breath and I begun to practice. Simple things at first. Rhymes. And then I started to associate my feelings and my thoughts with certain notes, certain phrases, and suddenly it all made sense. And slowly but surely, I was able to capture people's attention. I was able to show them what I could do and show them who I was. Through story, through music. And I start to play more discordant notes. But my friend would never listen. They said, I can't listen to your song because when I do, it shows me that I will never be able to do what you do. And I'm sorry. But I knew this from the beginning. I'm sorry that I did this to you. I'm sorry that I made you feel this way. And that was the last I saw of them. And I just kind of play a melancholy sound to finish the story.
Wait. Who were they?
Another time.
Oh, no. Really?
Not all stories are happy endings.
Drift is so bummed out. Drift is so pissed. Drift is so upset.
Everyone give me perception checks.
$15.
7 from Rin, 15
7.
from 19, and a 20 from me.
Who we missing?
And
Drift.
Drift.
16.
And a 16 from you. Okay, so you guys chilling as you do,
God damn it.
listening to the story. Rin busy dealing with the tea, handing out the tea, listening to the story, maybe a little distracted. 19, you are in your sentry bot state. So you're aware, but you're resting deeply. Drift, you're aware of your surroundings as well, but, you know, still resting somewhat.
Yeah, of course.
You guys don't see anything, and that's a good thing. Nothing's coming to get you. Nothing attacks you. Nothing is terrifying. I think probably at least the first hour passes Drift to allow you to have the spell slots back. And then during that time, you have some tea. You maybe eat some food. Maybe prepare the camp and stuff. And then Iridir begins to tell his story. And at the end of the story, Iridir, you look up, or maybe you're putting your stuff away, or you're placing the loot back down after telling your story, and a figure catches your eye in the distance. You look out across the road. There's a couple of bushes. There's this grotesque direwolf to the right of your periphery, and you glimpse a woman across the road. It probably makes your heart jump a little bit, as you just don't expect to see a figure there, and you see a pretty beautiful looking elven woman with very long blonde hair pulled into a ponytail. She's wearing sort of very worn but still quite nice looking finery clothes. She's got a lot of leaves and twigs and vines that seem to be pulled around some of the cuffs and some of the areas of the clothes that pull parts of it together. And it's only the briefest glimpse. As you see her, you kind of shake your head, and she's already gone. You've never seen her before, and she's gone. It's just a glimpse. But the image, I think, stays with you. Although it was barely a fraction of a second, and it was absolutely just something where you're maybe a little too tired from walking that you've seen. It's you know exactly like what you saw. It was very clear in that moment, and then it had passed again. A very obvious vision, somewhat. And then it's gone, and you guys can relax then for the next 4 hours, or the next 3 hours, and yeah, nothing comes out at you, nothing comes running at you, nothing's trying to eat you. It passes pretty fine, and you can.
If anybody rolls a hit dice, you get an extra d6.
Yeah. So Rin and 19 have the effects of a long rest. So you're at full health, and you have all your spell slots back. Iridir, you've just had a short rest and nothing else.
I'm gonna change spells, by the way, too, Brad, during the rest.
Yep, you can do that. Drift HP wise, I think you're at full anyway, but
I'm full.
okay. But you've
And I got
technically
my
only
spells
had a
back from the
short rest. But yeah, you.
But I didn't get, sadly, my Hexblade's curse.
Is that on a long
Yeah,
rest?
Long rest.
Right. Okay.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you guys rest. You rest up. Nothing's going on around you. Nothing changes. It's just you guys here. Like, you probably see things or hear things in the distance. You know, you might see some sort of beasts that are relatively friendly-looking things,
Right.
moving off somewhere in the distance, and you might hear maybe the howl of a wolf. But you know, it's distant. You seem to be in relatively safe lands.
And we lost those temporary hit points, correct?
Mhm.
That was from something Eero did, right?
I don't really know how long they last, to be honest, because that is just brand new bullshit, and I don't know anything that comes out of Volos.
How long?
Uh,
did it
I'm
last?
sorry,
And the
what-
fuzz.
You
What were
gave
you-
us. You gave us temporary hit points
How long
during
do
that
they last?
battle.
The temporary hit points, I think, last until they go, basically, like until you use them.
So,
Oh,
but you
yep.
can't stack them, right?
Correct.
But you would still have them if you have them.
Sweet. Yeah, I got it.
So your 4 hours pass. What do you guys want to do?
All right. I think it's about time for us to set off. Actually,
It's still daytime. It's 4 p.m.
yeah. I think I would have walked up to Rin after she seemed to be moving about again. And I say, how are you feeling?
Better. Okay. Thank you. I'll feel much better when we get to the capital.
Hopefully. Perhaps when we arrive, we can have a chat. And I sort of like look right into her eyes when I say that.
I owe you that much.
Nod my head slowly. All right then.
All right then. Okay, so do you guys want to continue your travel? You heading out?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's...
Boss.
Okay, so
Let's go, baby.
you guys are here-ish. You're kind of in between, really. You're well on your way. So, next piece of travel, I'm gonna kind of count. So, how long are you gonna travel for? Are you gonna travel just until nighttime and only really do sort of a half travel, or are you just gonna push on until you feel tired and need to rest?
I would assume that we probably travel till nighttime.
I would think so, yeah.
I would say like a little into the night, just like while it's still early night. Yeah, it gets a little dark, but like
That like twilight hour.
like
when it's
twilight
getting
hour
dark.
is when I would say.
Like 10 p.m. it will be dark by
So
10 p.m.
I say we're setting up camp by 9:30.
Like in Iceland.
I mean, like full dark. You know, like you guys are out in nowhere, so you don't have ambient light. It's
We have the
just
stars.
you have stars, but
You
you.
can't really set up a campfire in the dark.
It's
though.
very. It's like it's early
I
autumn.
mean, you can, but
It's very
Well,
early
a lot
autumn.
of us have dark vision. It's just
yeah.
19 that gets.
Poor 19, dude.
Yeah.
You all have dark vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I got the light spell, so
time to go and
Gas
figure out
myself in light.
figure out some way to give yourself night vision, dark vision.
Oh, man.
All right.
it's reprogrammed into my memory.
So, in theory, you guys don't really need to do any checks in terms of navigation because you have a very obvious road underfoot. You know where you're going. You don't need to do anything other than follow the road. You don't really need to track anything because you're not hunting anything or looking for anything that leaves tracks. And you don't need to forage
I
because
think
you have food.
all of us are just have our heads on a swivel at
I
this
would-
point.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
suggest
I have a
that-
question. too.
Yeah.
We would be if we're traveling for the amount of time we're traveling, it would put us like kind of in the middle of the next hex, right?
Well, yeah. By the end of today, you'll be at the end of this hex. You're like here, and by 10 p.m. you'll be there.
We would be able to see the capital from where we're at, wouldn't we? At this point in time?
No.
No. Okay.
It's big, but it's not that big. That's cute.
A little
The,
happy face, dude.
the all right. So everyone, give me perception checks for the for the
Gladly.
next travel.
I would love to.
Just think if it was that big of a ladybug or a spider.
22 for Rin.
Go to Australia.
9 for Iridir.
7 for Drift.
17 for 19.
Nicely done. Nicely done. All right. So the rest of your day is spent walking along this
Did we
this
get
road,
any
the
meat,
King's
by the way?
Road.
From
You
the-
did. I think. I mean, I'm just assuming you took some
We
off
just
of the
packed it.
walls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rin mentioned like curing some meat, so I think you probably have at least meat for today if you want to. Like when you come to rest later on, you'll be able to eat that instead of a ration. Or I guess in fact actually everybody just add a ration. It might be easier to do it that way. Or just I don't know. Yeah, add a ration
They'd want to take my rations, so I wouldn't need them.
if you have rations.
I'm just unless you weren't talking to me in that circumstance. If you were telling me to add one,
I feel like I'm
one-
never talking to you when it comes to food.
Okay, good. I'm just
Really,
gonna
there's
assume
just
that from here on out then,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Because there's just no point in counting you in it. You just trudge along, dung, 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 behind them, just completely unhungry. Whereas the three of them, maybe their stomachs start to growl eventually.
Starving, dude. Starving.
So the day is spent walking along. So the river is gone. You lose the river during this day as well.
Dried up?
No, it just fucks off north, and you guys continue heading to the east towards Roseguard. I think most of you may have done this travel. I'm not really sure. I guess so. Let's see. Rin came from
Green Hill.
Green Hill, but you're also where from? Trebello. You've got Drift.
Killish runes.
Drift hasn't been this way before, I don't think.
I have not. No.
Drift has
I've
never
only,
been.
I've only stayed on this bottom portion.
Drift has never been to Roseguard. 19 was born in Roseguard a month ago, and Iridir. I don't know how you traveled here. You don't have to travel by road. A lot of people don't, but it's pretty difficult not to travel.
Travel by Griffin.
From the north to Roseguard. So this is maybe sort of somewhat familiar ground to a couple of you. The river vanishes, but the road remains, and it's not a nice road. You're walking along a dusty, dirty, vaguely trodden down piece of earth that has clearly been tended to in the most basic way. Like, they do something like salt the earth or something to stop the grass from growing, and like that's it. There's vague markings every now and then. There'll be an old campsite or a signpost, maybe some rocks that have got some etchings on that just state that you're heading the right way to Roseguard, or that Green Hill is this way, or Drit. Seems to be a pretty quiet walk though for you for the rest of the day. Apart from sort of small talk between you guys, and you're all super hyper vigilantly sort of looking around. Nothing is tracking you, and you make it to the end of the day. As the sun begins to set, you start to think about looking for somewhere to settle down for the evening, to camp out overnight, and very empty. Nothing comes towards you. There's no one else on the road or anything either. You are safe, and you make it through today. So, give me a survival check if you want to spot somewhere. In fact, Tiger, give me a survival check with advantage to just begin to look somewhere for somewhere to settle. 13. Not the greatest area now. As you guys come to this very open plain now, it's very flat. A lot of those plateaus have gone. It would make good farming ground probably, but it's there's not enough populace yet to set this place up as a town. Maybe in the future there'll be a big old sprawling farm agricultural town here, but it's very flat, lush, kind of fertile, thick grass, and it's just a matter of plonking down somewhere. It's up to you guys whether you want to sit beside the road or move further off the road to camp, but that's pretty much your only options.
Well, we have two options. We can either camp close to the road, or we can head in a little bit. Being that this is the King's Road and it's decently well traveled,
I just wouldn't want anyone to think we were bandits.
I was going to say I don't think we'd want to stay on the road. We're a little too close to Roseguard. We're only a day's travel away. We're in a position where if somebody comes up and find us, maybe they'll be bandits, or they'll think we're bandits. We should move in, maybe to the north a little bit, closer to the river, or maybe to the south, a little farther into the plains.
We're not bandits, though.
No, that doesn't mean people won't think we were.
That's true. That's true.
Yes, perhaps we should do as 19 suggests and stay off of the main road.
I'm in.
It's probably a good idea.
You think we should head more to the south and more to the north? If we head towards the north, we'll be closer to the river. For water, if we need it. But
I
if
like
we
the
don't,
river.
The river makes a lot of sense.
Well, hear me out here, though. If we go to the river, there's a possibility of more people. Because other people would think the same. Go to the river, be around the river, be closer to that habitat. If we go to the south, it's a little more of an open plains area. You may not run into anybody there.
But what if the people who are thinking about going to the north and then decided to go to the south, just as we're thinking, if we go to the north, we're going to see more people, and then we go to the south?
I would say if we're going into statistics or stats or anything along those lines, I didn't take a class for it, so I don't have a good answer for you.
Well, me neither.
I think the river is just fine.
I'd say the river's probably still a little too far away. You're going pretty far north. Yeah, I don't think
It's just deciding like where we want to.
the heading
I
north
think we
would
should,
take you to the
like
river.
10 minutes away from the road. No one's going to see us if we don't have a campfire
You're
going.
probably kind of like there, but that's still a decent amount of time to get to the river, kind of thing.
Totally.
I say that we find a spot to the north with good surroundings, compact so we don't get seen, get a fire so no one finds us. Shall we?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
All right.
it's all
Hero, are you all right?
No, I'm fine. I'm sort of like looking off into the distance. I'm looking like down the road, sort of a bit like absent-mindedly.
Which way? Behind you?
Yes.
Right. Give me a perception check. An absent-minded perception check, which isn't a passive perception.
An 11.
You see nothing down the road, just the road. And then you guys head off the road to northern side, walk away so that you're out of the. You can't even see the road, or just far
out
enough
of line
that
of
you-
sight so the road wouldn't see our fire.
So decent ways off the road. And then who's leading the way?
Me.
Give me a survival check. And remember the number. 7.
Does anybody else have Final Fantasy battle music that just starts in their head anytime someone says something creepy like that?
Me.
Like, I just hear it.
Because you're always
He's
playing
starting, and
Final
I'm like, oh
I
god.
think anytime I wander into some sort of field or something, like
Okay.
in a game or in a story on like a role-playing game, like
Yeah.
I get that Final Fantasy VIII battle music playing.
Yes, yeah, me too. I sometimes get it at the grocery store when they're like paper or plastic. Or do you want any
What
bags?
the hell?
Rin.
You are Rin in real life.
Rin.
You gonna fight him?
Please, Rin, please roll me
It was
a
a joke.
D100
Oh
Okay.
my god, here you go.
since you wanted the Final Fantasy battle music to play.
Oh god.
53. All right, so you guys begin to settle down in the just in this field, basically. Like I think this is quite long grass here as well. Like not so long that it's like covering you up, but it's pretty like off the floor. It probably comes up to halfway up your shins, kind of thing. It makes for a decent, comfortable way to sit down, but it's probably a little odd. You know, it's very not flat. It's quite hard. You have to kind of maybe cut away an area to settle in, which is a little bit of work, and then it's relatively difficult to find things to make a small fire out of at first, because there's no trees or really like any thick bushes that you can find twigs for, so it takes a little while before you can find enough stuff to build up a campfire. And then but I'd say you eventually get it done. You find an area that's good enough, settle down, maybe sitting on your packs, because there's not even any rocks or tree stumps to sit on, and then you begin the evening, and I assume you're just going to stay here until light again, yeah?
Correct. Yeah.
Till dawn, probably, when there's enough light to get around.
Right.
Well, what time did we wake up last time? Wasn't it like 4 a.m.?
About 4 a.m. is like when the very beginnings of the light were sort of showing, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd love to get to Roseguard at a decent hour.
Again, it's not it's like extremely late summer, very early autumn is where you're at. Like autumn festivals and stuff will be starting soon. So who wants to do first watch? Give me the order of watches as you guys settle down.
I'll
Question-
take first.
I assume as well you guys are actually sleeping this time. Those of you who need sleep.
Yes.
'Cause
Question again on the watch.
You've been
I don't.
walking a lot. Yeah, go on. You don't need. You can sentry
I don't
bot.
need-
That's true.
I will. I don't even do sentry bot since I'm completely good, if I'm correct. Unless the exhaustion will happen if I don't sleep. But either way, I'll sentry bot and keep full watch since I'm completely full up right now.
So can he do that all night? Do we even
He
have
can.
to ever?
You don't technically need to. He could fail his roll though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. I can fail my roll. Yeah.
I only need. I mean, I just rested, but I think Rin would probably rest for a little while and then probably take second watch or third watch.
Okay.
I was gonna
Anyway,
take second.
so-
I was gonna
Okay,
take second.
I'll take third.
Okay.
right.
I love the nighttime.
I'll just be up with the people that are taking watch regardless. So it's kind of like an extra watch, which I say that because if we do that and somebody else takes first watch with me, second watch with me, third watch with me, could we have advantage on the rolls?
Yeah.
Because there'll be two of us.
Yeah. I mean, you can have advantage or you can roll each. It's up to
We'd
you.
each get our own roll.
Yeah.
So, who's taking first watch?
Eero, I think.
Hero. And
Oh.
so,
Well, I can take first watch if
all right then.
19 wants to stay up with me.
I'll be with you.
Be 19 all
right.
throughout.
That's great.
So, all right. Hero's first. Okay, Hero and 19 give me perception checks. We'll do it that way.
Sweet.
25 crit.
What?
10 for me.
How come I'm not seeing these?
Yeah, I don't see your roll.
Do I see the huge barnacle
Yeah.
I don't see
Coming
any
up.
rolls.
sky burning the world down?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. 25, natural 20
Wow.
Wow.
from 19. 19, yeah, you do. You do see some shit going down.
There's tentacles coming out of the sky, isn't there?
You do see some shit going on. You see
Binocular zero.
you see that while you are sitting around and while you're all kind of hanging out, you notice that this tall grass has these patchy areas a little ways in. It's very difficult to notice until you start to very much stare at it for 2 hours. You look at the patchy areas, maybe stand up, start to head over to one and take a little closer look. I mean, it's easy enough to do, to walk over to one. And you see that a lot of these patchy areas are kind of trodden down grass. Trodden down by very large footsteps, like way too big. And since you got a natural 20, in the darkness, it's now full moon. There's light, because that's how I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna let you have this. You see 3 huge figures
Oh my
stomping around north of where your camp is. They're moving around lazily and slowly. They don't appear to be like heading towards you, but you might very well be in the stomping grounds, the territory, or the home of 3 very large humanoid creatures.
Can I tell if they like what they have on them or what, like, do they
No.
look aggressive? Can I really tell, or can I just basically see shadows of
You
them?
just see big shadows, and you realize that you sort of couple the flattened earth area or flattened grass area with these moving figures in the distance, and realize that they're not close, they're just big and relatively far away, but
They're far enough away, so if I were to talk to Eero and stuff like that, I could talk at a little more than a whisper. They're not going to hear me or anything
yeah, they're
like
not
that.
right next to you.
God, this music, dude, is so clowny and creepy.
First thing I'm gonna do is walk over back to Eero and I'm gonna, Eero,
Yes?
come with me, quietly. I want to go back to the spot I was at. Since he's a little shorter than me, I'm gonna assume that I can see a little farther than him.
That's how that works.
I would like you to tell me, can you see those figures out there?
You can give me another perception check with advantage, Hero. Since A, you have dark vision, and B, you know what you're looking for. You're given an area. 12. I'd say yeah. Actually, yeah. You can make out that there's something pretty fucking far away moving around.
What is that?
They are 3 very, very, and I point to the footprint, like the footstep next to me, like almost like I hid it from him until I could like slide to the side and show him. Wherever they are very big, and I can't really tell from here whether they would be friendly or if they would be aggressive. I'm going to go ahead with my gut.
Aggressive. Look at the size of that footprint.
I think we need to softly wake the others and head south a little bit. They are
Quickly and softly, yes.
they're a good distance away, but if they start walking this way, this is probably their planes. We'll lose a little sleep, but I think we should wake the others up quietly.
Definitely. I'm already starting to walk away and like go to grab somebody.
I'd like to go back and I'll wake up Drift because I know that Ira would want to wake up Rin.
So I just like gently with my toe, like as far away from Rin as possible, like try to nudge her.
Yeah, so she actually just meditates, so she doesn't really sleep, so she's just sitting there. And I guess, are you gonna with your toe poke her what, leg?
I'm probably like your foot or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes, what?
We have a bit of trouble. Nothing immediate, but we should probably get out of here.
What's wrong?
There are 3 very large shapes with very big feet. In distance, there is a strong chance that we may be encroaching upon their territory.
I'll get my bag.
Good idea.
Okay.
I go over to Drift and I very softly awake him, very softly, like the softest that 19 has ever been.
Drift, okay? Yeah.
I need you to slowly pick up your things. Well, quickly pick up your things quietly. When I was on watch, I pulled Eero to the side as well. To the north of us, probably half a mile, maybe a little more, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
There are 3 big, very large-footed shaped. My best guess is ogres. We need to get our things and move to the south to avoid them.
Ogres?
I don't know if it would be ogres or whatever it is big enough to eat us and probably one go for
Big
you.
one's ogres. Yeah, no problem.
So I'm going to need you to get your things and we're all going to move quietly and swiftly away from them. They're far enough away now where we don't probably have to worry about making too much noise, but we need to get out of here. And I kind of say that loud enough for the rest of the group to hear too, like in a quiet tone. And I would say that we probably, and speaking for the group, we probably get up all of our stuff and move towards the south, back towards I would say, and if anybody in the group differs from this, I would say that we probably get all of our stuff and move to a safer position so people can continue their sleep.
I think south of the road is where we would go as our
probably.
second choice.
Heading south of the road.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably risk crossing the road late at night, but
The moon is full.
Before anything,
we
can
just
I
walk?
stealthily walk, Brad?
You can stealthily walk, yeah, if you want. So first of all, your 7 on your survival check means that you're not too sure where the road is. 19.
Oh no!
Oh, Jesus.
I would know north, south, east, west though, correct?
Not on a 7. Give me.
Whatever.
You don't.
Disoriented, maybe.
You don't know like a very. You can't just go. Oh, we're going this way and this way is back to the road. You walked for enough that you walked away from the road. That's why I asked.
We're gonna walk the opposite direction of where the creatures are at.
Walk the opposite direction of where the creatures are. Yeah.
You said they're to the north.
Sure. Yeah, you're north. What you think is north.
Yeah.
On your 7.
So going to walk.
Southeast.
Yeah. So you guys start moving away. Drift wants to really walk slowly and stealthily. So give me a stealth check, Drift.
I think it'd probably
Stealthy
be good for
walk
us
means
all
you
to
walk
do
walks a little
Yeah,
slower.
I'm definitely moving stealthily.
I think we all would
All right,
probably try to do
everyone give me
that.
stealth checks.
Yeah.
19.
Playing it smart.
Give me
19.
another survival check.
8 for me.
12 from me.
Got an 8 on the survival.
10
Okay.
for Rin.
So you start moving off. You guys
How am
gather
I the
up.
stealthiest?
You guys.
I don't know. It makes sense.
You guys stand up and you creep away stealthily to the road in the south.
Oh, anyone who's just listening to this, Brad just had a shitload of bunny ears.
And you know what I
Three.
think?
Upload.
You know what I think, John? And this is that moment in time where we show up. There's like a down. We walk up to a road, but it's a road that leads to like a house, like a fucking.
You head away from the area where the creatures are, and you find another area that's like you walk for long enough that you feel like you probably should be at the road, but you're not at the road. but the creatures are very far away, and a quick glance around you, 19, to look for like whether there's like flattened grass, like similar tracks that look similar to these giant footprints and just broken bits of earth. It doesn't look like this is any longer the stomping grounds of these very large, should I say huge creatures. So you find a new area that would serve decently well for somewhere to rest for the evening. But it's not south of the road, or at least you didn't find the road in this small travel that you probably walked for like, 20 minutes, half hour to be completely sure.
I apologize. I got a little disoriented. Those creatures, last time I saw something that big was in the war. This area seems decent. We could probably make camp here, and we could maybe sleep for an extra hour until 5 in the morning, and I could wake you all up at 5. And it's probably about time, Hero. Your watch is probably done, and whoever's second watch with me could probably take it over, and we'll go back to resting. If you,
I mean,
think it's a good-
I'm awake now. I'm fine to keep walking. It's a beautiful night out. Full moon. I can see very well.
How do you feel, Hero?
I'm all right. I'm a bit tired.
Well, maybe.
Hero didn't really get any rest.
Yes. Well, maybe we let those two get some rest, and we'll stay up for a second watch and
Yeah, I'll take second watch.
rest for a few hours.
Okay.
Not
So,
gonna complain.
Also, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. I apologize. I got
give me a perception check first and then do it.
Okay.
God.
Who else was on the watch this time? Sorry.
Me.
You? Yeah, give me a perception check as well.
Yes. Thank
Oh,
God.
baby!
Nice.
Oh, and she did good
And nice. A
20 for
20
19 and 24 for Rin.
and a 24. The evening for you guys, the first 2 hours, if you're doing, let's see, actually, what time is it? It's 10. Yeah, first 2 hours that you guys do on the watch. Nothing comes at you. There's no loud, horrible, terrifying footsteps. There's no creatures moving through the underbrush, this grass towards you. And it passes relatively easily. Who was next on the watch? Who do you wake up?
I think I wake up Drift, actually.
All right, Drift, you are awoken.
too. Okay.
Hey, I have a cup of tea for you, and it's your turn for watch.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah,
Wait,
you're
can I have
welcome.
Did you do a whole pot for me or just the cup?
I did a whole pot for you. It's over there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't know why I got emotional there, but I just like very excited to have an entire pot to myself.
That tea is
Definitely
fucking
shed a
awesome.
tear. Definitely.
All right, I'm gonna roll a perception for 19 since he's AFK right now, and this is just how we're gonna do this. Roll me a perception as well, please, Drift. 23 from 19. I know it says that's my name, but it's not. I rolled it off of his sheet, I promise. Another 23. Oh, 20, 24, 23 there. And then a 10 from Drift.
Yeah.
Another peaceful time.
Yes.
The next couple of hours pass. It's super quiet. You found the best place ever, as far as you can tell, away from whatever the fuck lived on that path that you were. Its path the things, whatever they were. And it's just another pretty peaceful couple of hours go past. You drink the tea, and then I presume you wake up Eero for the last part.
I took my watch. I took
yeah,
the first
Yeah,
one.
so we're actually done after that.
Oh, that's the end.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Well, does
19 needs to do one by himself, I guess.
by himself? Yeah.
So 19, give me another perception drift. If you go,
Oh my God.
you have a
Yeah,
nap.
I'll just go back to bed. Please don't fail this. Oh no! Oh no!
9's not that bad. It
A
could
9
be
is
way
not that
fucking
bad.
worse.
It could be worse. But you'll be pleased to know, even on your solo watch, nothing comes running at you.
Hey!
Hey, we did it!
You make it through
What
the
about
evening.
roll it?
Hooray! We slept.
What about a roll or two? What would have
Good
came
night.
after us?
Nothing, because you already rolled your encounter, to be honest, and I didn't want to be mean.
Whoa! Could somebody fucking clip that moment right there?
Going DM, baby.
I was actually rolling to see if they saw you, to be honest. And with each watch, they actually move further away from you because, and this is I have the ability. So one of the things that's on this this encounter table that I made is beyond deadly.
Okay.
Was it those fucking things you're talking about?
What? Yeah. So I rolled for the encounter. You got an encounter. I rolled again, and it was the beyond deadly table. And then for that, what I do is I get you to roll on the grassland encounters table, which was the D100, and you rolled for 3 cyclopses.
I knew it was either ogres or cyclops.
Which
We would've
are
got
CR6. You probably couldn't kill one.
So we would die if they
Like almost definitely. Like you would not be able to combat kill them probably. It would be you'd have to fucking really think outside the box.
I don't think I've ever seen a
The
cyclops.
one thing though is that like while I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I'll roll to see if these fucking things can see them. But they have poor depth perception. The Cyclops has disadvantage on any attack roll on a target more than 30 feet away. But I just played that for like they can't fucking see, right? They ain't gonna be able to see you guys. So you got kind of lucky. They didn't. You know, as soon as you guys moved off, they didn't see you. They didn't see you at all. So you guys moved away, and you're very safe in the other area. So I wouldn't normally tell you guys, but I just thought it was fun to let you know that.
I thought
that's
they
what
were
happened. Just
ogres,
some meta.
or that they were
Ogres are nowhere near that big, and they're nowhere near that dangerous either. Cyclops
what
is
else really
fucking
big ones?
horrendous. Giants.
Giant.
There are
That was it.
giants. There's like 5 different types of
But
giants.
giants aren't giants bigger than cyclopses or no?
I think they're all huge and large. I don't
Man,
think.
what a world to live in if this is a real world, right?
I wish.
Yeah, it is. You are small folk, all of you. There are things out there that are very big and large, and this is what I mean when I say that this expanse of land between the cities and towns is still very young. So, it's still mostly
Whoa!
is
This
owned by
guy
the
would have kicked our
monsters.
butt.
Yeah, dude. It would have sucked. You'd have had to talk your way out of it for sure. So, anyway, I digress with some meta DM stuff just because I thought that was fun. And it was really interesting that that's what you rolled. And then when I rolled the perception check, I was like, they can't see shit. They got one eye. It's not over yet. Morning arrives. Dawn arrives. The sun is coming.
breaks.
The day is breaking. The sun is coming up. And it's not very, very, very light, but there is some light now. We'll say it's like a little after 4 a.m. And I'll write that down just so that we have an idea, because I never write it down. It always sucks. 4 a.m. And you guys are all now long rested. So whatever you get back from a long rest, you all have. You're all good to go. You also remember you get on a long rest. Anyone that's done 2 long rests today, you get 2 hit die back. Because you get you get half of your hit die back on a long rest, but I think it's just still 1. Is it rounded down or up? Hit die rounded up, right?
I think by default D&D rounds up, but I usually do it, based on the DM, whatever you want to do.
DM.
I'll give you 2. You can round up for hit die. I feel like might as well. So
I would only get one.
Brad is feeling real
Those-
nice.
those
What's gonna
of
happen
you-
later?
Just died.
Because yeah, he died twice.
What's gonna happen
Trying to get
later?
some
It's
big
'cause I
karma.
died,
He
yeah.
like soften us in this. Yeah, let me give you these. Let me give you this ice cream real quick before I take.
Way too calm. I'll say that.
I've had I had an okay day, and last week I remember I had 4 hours sleep last week. So I was
Yeah,
trying
last week
not
you
to-
were out of it.
I was so out of it. No, I'm not being nice. Those Cyclopses, if they'd seen you, would have come and tried to attack you. So that's, you know, my smile would have been gone. My chipper attitude. Yeah, I'm just here. I'm just facilitating this world around you. I'm very neutral and impartial on, you know, whether a Cyclops comes over here and lands on you.
True neutral.
I'm trying to be a very neutral DM. So Dawn arrives. So you're not on the road though. You did sort of lose a handle on where the road was in the night, but you know that the road is south for sure. You wouldn't have walked past it and not noticed it. I don't think it's obvious enough even by night that you would have seen it. So you guys pretty much need to head south and then find the road. So let's do a mini re-find the road travel check. Those of you who want to look out for creatures that are coming to get you and eat you, give me perception checks. And those of you that want to try and find the road and navigate back to it, give me survival checks.
Let's split this in half. I'm gonna do a.
I'll do the perception.
I'll
I'll
do
just look
survival.
out for creatures. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
do perception.
I can do either or because I'm doing pretty good. in
Do
either.
survival with me.
All right, 2 survivals.
Oh.
Hey. All right,
Dude.
19, natural 20 again. On the
I look to the right, the
survival
road's
check.
right there. am I right?
It's right there. And Drift 11. Rin got a 21 and Iridir got a 5 on the perception checks. Probably should roll. Interesting.
That's some
Very
good teamwork right there,
interesting.
fam.
Indeed.
Rush.
Okay.
But the Cyclopses have found you.
The Cyclops is on the road. Nope. You guys, well, what you were rolling for there was which way is south, 19, and you just go, there's the sun, there's the south. You know, you just start walking south. It maybe takes you only about 15 minutes before you find the road. You were pretty close. You just kind of got a little off in the night, and you kind of just vaguely found your way back. And after about 15 minutes, you can continue heading down the road. Perception-wise, you guys don't spot anything. Which doesn't mean nothing was there. Maybe you missed it. And you can continue with, I guess, to be honest, this is just now a blitz to Roseguard. You can do this in a day if you want. If you want to just march kind of thing. Not fully like marching, like running, but since you're kind of in this hex.
By the way, should we minus a ration?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Take a ration off if you didn't. That was what I was going to do. And you guys have been drinking tea and stuff, so I don't think you need to worry about too much in terms of...
So much tea.
We've had to take so many pee breaks along
yeah,
the road.
yeah, for sure.
Ridiculous amount.
Yeah. Just badgering Rin every 10 minutes. Like, maybe you should have some more tea.
I'm surprised she doesn't get
We're
annoyed.
just, we're just tiger ridering the whole way.
So,
It's like every 5 minutes we got to take a piss.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He's
just
always
went
fucking
pee.
getting up for a piss.
So now it's called tiger riding anytime you pee.
Give me, we'll do some
As
rolls.
humans, I'm the only fucking human to piss in.
We're gonna do some rolls to see. I think I'm just gonna blitz you to Roseguard with one more travel. So we'll do this
Guys-
last bit today. Give me,
You guys want to get something
no.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go.
Yeah, go on.
No.
What is it? All right.
Twice. That's twice though I've done it. I'm happy about it.
Last set of travel checks, and again, this comes down to foraging and scouting, pretty much. There's not really anything else in it for this part of the travel. It's just a matter of whether you want to find food along the way. We'll sort of account for like a lunch break during this, but generally, I would say you probably, if you want to forage, then you won't need to use a ration. If you don't want to forage, then everyone give me perception checks. That's pretty much how it will go.
Yeah, would you like me to see if I can help you find some food if you think it's necessary?
That would be wonderful.
All right, I'm gonna do a perception check as well. 21, 21, 21.
18.
Did you say you were looking for food though? 19.
Mhm.
Are you looking for food or enemies?
I was looking for enemies and stuff. Is what I was
Oh,
looking
okay.
for.
All right. Yeah. Perception check. Drift. You doing one?
I don't need to worry
Should I
about
do
food.
survival or perception? You want perception? Here.
If everyone's just
What did you
looking-
ask for? I'm sorry.
Whatever you want to do. Are you looking for food or enemies?
I mean, I'm out of food. I would love to look for food.
All right. Give me a survival check.
Survival, yeah.
Survival check. 16. 6 from Iridir. 18. And a 21 on perception checks from Rin and 19.
Oh, you were singing Amazing Grace for a second there.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I don't know the rest. I'm English. Okay, so Drift, you
Yes.
find a blackberry bush.
I love blackberries.
Fuck no.
And you can maybe as you guys settle down for a lunch, you can pick some blackberries and eat some
Awesome.
blackberries,
And-
if you want.
I feel better about that now.
Do I know they're not poisonous?
Yeah,
Cool.
because you are Drift the Curse Breaker, who is
Proficient.
You mean
proficient.
breaker?
Rin,
Mhm.
roll me a D100.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What are you doing wrong?
It's because I make him roll D100s on Saturday.
Hey, 29.
Cops times 15. The whole family's out now. They're taking off the-
If this kills us, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh wait, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong shit. Hold on. Hold up. Where is it?
I will buy you a garden.
Very nice.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Rin.
fuck yeah, sing that song.
Wait, is Rin? Oh,
Been a while.
19. Rin at 19. While Drift is like just whipping blackberries off this bush. Rin, maybe this is when you stop for your lunch break. You guys can eat blackberries and not have to use a ration if you want, and have a cup of tea and kind of just relax. And this will be a point where you relax and break. You come to the area where the river is, probably, and you notice that the river has returned, kind of thing. It's back to where. It's within your sight. It's ahead of where you guys are, and the road begins to move alongside it again as it was doing previously. You also notice that the river is much wider. It's come back, but it's a lot wider at this point. It looks like it's maybe a mile across now, and it's starting to get wider as it pushes further towards the east. Rin and 19 in the sky. Above you, not really above you, in the sky in the distance, above the river, flying north, you see a feathered serpent. A giant feathered serpent flying along.
Falcor! No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah!
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
When you do so, why can't I spell this fucking word? Ever.
L-O-L. Brad.
It was LMAO.
Oh, shit.
Thank
Not
you.
LMAFO?
Raffle. Sorry.
This is a good thing. If I can fucking find the fucking thing.
Good. We deserve good.
All right, you get the good thing when we come back from a break because nothing's working. When you look up above the river, you see this sort of giant feathered serpent, and it's nice. Its wingspan is enormous, and the feathers appear to be varying different colors, oranges and reds and yellows and whites, and the sun, which is now way up in the sky shines off this thing. You guys feel good, 19 and Rin. You feel so good that you will have a magical effect when we return. And,
What? Wait, why didn't we get this?
You didn't see it.
Because we didn't fucking see Falcor, John.
You didn't see it.
That's what I get. That's what I get.
At the
Oh, I was
center
coming
of
back
the
up
river, at the center of the river, you do also spot a fishing boat way out in the middle. You are getting close to civilization. And that's where we're going to go to our break today. Thank you for watching.
Go,
Planet
baby!
Planet.
Let's
You,
a chill episode. What everyone's
Pretty
wanted. A great story from Eero.
could have
Yeah, that
been
was
Nice
really
fun
good.
nights.
could have been a very non-chill episode though.
Chill.
Could have been a very non-chill.
I loved it. Well, after last week's episode where we battled wolves for almost 2 hours, I mean, it's kind of nice. Like, plus on top of that, it relieves space for story, right?
Yeah, but you have no idea how hard my butthole clenched when I rolled Beyond Deadly. I was like, oh my god. They're going to think I'm doing this on purpose because of the week I've had. Cursed week. Anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to go to a very short break here. Thanks for watching, people. If you want more content, please be sure to follow. We have lots of shows. At the moment, we basically have a show every night except for Wednesdays. So you can check out the schedule, which you're going to need to be watching like a hawk, and we're going to need to be updating like a hawk because it's soon. There is going to be a discrepancy in times between Americans and Englishes and Europes and Canadians because it's daylight savings. So make sure to keep an eye on the actual Twitch channel. We have a countdown timer, and we're going to try and like be on that to make sure that you know when these shows start, because for some of us it'll be an hour behind or an hour ahead, and some of us it'll be an hour behind, and it's going to get really annoying to keep an eye on. So keep an eye on that. If you want more stuff, check out the Patreon. We have some Darkfire things on there at the moment. The dungeon from the beginning with the fires of the dungeons and the Dungeon of Fire. It's called a Dungeon of Fire. In this it was called the Gate of Fire, but it doesn't make sense to just put in your random campaign all my bullshit lore, so it's called a random Dungeon of Fire. And we have some NPCs, what are they called? Creatures, monsters.
Features.
Which is the Infeared from 2 episodes ago that these guys fought. So if you want to check out that stuff and support the Patreon, that would be great. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Mwah.
We're almost at our goal.
Almost at our goal, $1,000.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Right now, hello everyone, we're back.
Hey, remember that time?
Welcome back to the stream.
He really did. We were playing Soul Calibur, so I mean, I wasn't making it.
Everybody, welcome back to the stream. It's me, the GM, BradWOTO, bringing you another episode of Table Stories Darkfire, featuring all of the gang. They're all still
doing
alive.
this again?
So, you three, the next 3 ability checks that you make. No, 2 of you, isn't it? Rin and 19. You feel good. You feel damn good. Okay, the sun glints off the back of this creature that you see flying in the sky, and you feel good. And then you look up, and the thing is moving very quickly, and it's gone. The next 3 ability checks that you make, or saving throws, or attack rolls, you may choose to add a D4 to. So write it down somewhere.
How long can we hold on to those for?
Today.
Okay.
We'll say until nightfall.
And that's just on any check or anything pretty much whatsoever. Did you pretty much name everything?
Pretty much everything.
Okay, you'll tell me if I can't do it on something, so.
Kind of like guidance. You kind of have a super guidance, and you have 3 of them. 3 times super guidance. So mark it down somewhere for the next, or maybe the next 24 hours then. Let's go with the next 24 hours.
In the game 24 hours?
Yeah, you have until midday tomorrow.
Okay.
Even
That's
though it's
awesome.
Not really midday. I can't remember what time it is now. 4 a.m. Yeah, it's probably about midday. So, midday tomorrow. The Kotal's blessing, Quetzalcoatl, will wear off. Let me write it. So, let's see. Why doesn't that write?
I want to ride that thing.
Don't do this.
Can I roll to ride it?
Yeah?
Can I do it just for fun? And will you just tell me if I'd ever be able to? Never mind. You're just going to
No.
make it.
So, you two feel amazing as you approach the I don't know what that means, Wax Steven. It confused me so much. You're muted.
It wasn't for you.
We're just we're just having a conversation, right?
All right. So, you guys are now just heading along the road, and this next section of road, you're practically in Roseguard. So it's way safer now. As you move along this last stretch, it's just a matter of trudging along the road and following this river along. Again, the river begins to widen and widen. You'd estimate that it's maybe almost a mile across, and it's continuing to get a little further across. And you can see fishing boats start to appear at the center of the river. And then eventually you guys, as you push through the rest of this day, you start to see in the distance a very great walled city. Big walls. There isn't...
This is the biggest place I've ever been in my life.
It's pretty much the biggest place on the entire continent. It's the biggest city, rivaled only really by Lenadel, which is the other capital city to the northern half of the continent. This one is larger, only by a little, but it is the biggest. And there aren't that many walled cities either. Most towns have a small walled area and a place that, you know, like when shit goes down, people run behind the walled off section. But there isn't that many places that have like a full big wall that goes around the entire place, let alone this place, which has an enormous one. And you can see it. You see it first. That's how big it is. It's very obvious that this city is coming up, and the walls are white, which helps you to see them in the sunshine. They're like a gleaming white that seems to sort of split the horizon ahead of you. And as you continue
I'm
walking
about as
along,
ecstatic as Drift is about seeing this, by the way.
okay,
My energy level and Drift's energy level are like, yeah.
yeah. And at first it's just a line, you know, like that's what it is. It's like when you go into the beach or whatever, and you're like the first one to see the sea. You know, it's like you see it in the distance. But then eventually you start to really make out that there's this single massive wall that sort of breaks the sky and the land. You also make out as you get a little closer, there's a raised section on a sort of plateau. There's an impressive palace that just shoots upwards and splits the sky above. And those are the first two things that you'd be able to make out moving towards this place. Even from a great distance, as you're moving down the road, you can make out this very large wall and this very large palace that seems to be sitting just in the middle of the horizon. And yeah, it would look a little weird. Beyond it is a great big forest that you'll be able to notice as well. Then as you keep walking, the road starts to split in several places and it becomes well trodden. In some places it's marked by stones on either side. There's a lot more signs that seem to push various tradesmen and merchants to very specifically marked places. A lot of the places are referencing a particular farm known as Muln's Farm. You see the farmlands now pretty much entirely on the south side. There isn't anything that you can make out on the north side of the river yet. But the road splits in several places, and then you find yourself crossing 3 small bridges as well. The river splits off into some canals that run down towards these farms, and there's just huge agricultural farmland out on one side, mostly crops out this far. You can see people and carts moving up and down. A couple of them on the road in front of you. You'll be able to make out now as you get a little closer to Roseguard. Before you know it, you're passing small residences and barns. There's even a military outpost, which is kind of like a tower. Relatively small stone towers with locked doors at the bottom. A couple of little faces peering out from under helms down at you from on high. And following the road, you sort of bit by bit start to make out people bustling in and out of a huge gate. You pretty much, I feel like, would probably begin to now arrive at the west gate of Roseguard. It's open. It's a huge reinforced oaken door, standing open, and there's several guards now, and they're dressed in a less dirty version of the armor that you had already seen with the men that you met at Drit. None of them seem to be like the ranger outfit that like McKinnon and Zalera was wearing, but Captain Stonesworn in that basic uniform of the chainmail with the red cape. Some of them have a sash that comes across the front. All of them have the rose of Roseguard somewhere. But there's a decent amount of them moving around this gate. There's a couple of them on horses that are moving up and down the road. They don't pay you any mind whatsoever. And you're actually probably starting to you'll be caught up in a small group of farmers and carts and merchants that seem to be on the road, and they're moving between these farms and these other roads that you had passed. Suddenly you're swept up, and very quickly you're sort of caught in this civilization. This huge wall stands in front of you. These reinforced oaken doors open. Beyond it, you can see this sprawling city. All of these red roofs and white walls inside. You can see the guards as well, like passing carts through the gate. Some of them are stopped by the guards, and you can see them questioning the drivers, and some are waved through. For you guys, I think probably more impressively is these huge walls, 50 foot tall. I don't think you probably, I mean, those of you that have been here will have seen it, but walls that just stretch out over the river. and beyond, out into the river. It doesn't go all the way over the river. It goes out into the river and around to allow for some boats that are just moving up and down, and then it goes all the way down to the south. You can see that there is lots of residences on the outside as well to the south. There's almost like a slum that you can see of much smaller residences that push out towards the south of this bottom wall, not so close as to where you are. And then there's another set of huge sprawling farmlands that just seem to push out beyond where you are, as if Roseguard is completely self-sufficient with lots of farms on the outside that push into a sort of slum and then into the central city. On top of the wall, there are soldiers moving around again. There's a very distinct military presence here. You get the idea that these guys have military might and strength. The war that only ended 13 years ago, and these are the winners. And it really does kind of stick out, I think, once you come to this place. There are these soldiers moving around the parapets above you, soldiers in front of you, and then there's these flags and banners that are flying. Did I do the thing? I have a coat of arms which I very hastily put together. Everything bears this symbol, pretty much. The Roseguard coat of arms is on everything here. You can see it on banners and flags that float above where you guys are, around the gate and along the wall, and it seems to go all the way around the wall in these huge tapestries, these great big banners that are hanging down and lightly floating in the wind. It's a red rose on a shield with two swords behind the coat of arms, for those of you just listening. I have one question for you all as you kind of walk down this path and then just get caught up with all these people, and that is whether your bracers are on show, because everyone here looks relatively poor. You guys are pretty, mud covered, blood covered. Your clothes are fucked, but you do have these big gold gem encrusted bracers that I think you'd probably be very aware of, and I'm not doing it to meta you in any way, but I think if you were walking along with it, you'd be very aware of it. And I think definitely as you start to walk into this area and see these people start to move around, you can see the throngs of people inside the gates. You'd probably be very aware of it, so I just wanted to know.
Can I roll an insight check?
On me?
I want to sort of... Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people around kind of eyeballing us. I don't really know how to act entering in this city. I'm trying to gauge their reactions and stuff to our presence. Yeah. And I guess I'm trying to see, should I protect myself or, what's going on?
Yeah, give me an insight check. And again, I'm asking you not for any meta or anything. If you feel like your character wouldn't hide the bracer,
I would not.
Then that's up
15.
to you.
Rin wears monk robes, so you can't see it anyway.
Yep, okay.
My character can't hide the bracer.
15 on the insight. There's a couple of people. What did you say? Sorry, 19?
My character, he has no way of hiding the bracer.
Okay, so yours is very obviously on show, but maybe a little less. I'd say it's not hot, but it's definitely not cold. Close, it's relatively warm. It's not a bad day. Sun is shining.
It's like autumn, right?
My guess is I probably would have had my shirt over the bracer, just if we were out in the sun all day, just to hide my skin from the sun, so it wasn't I'm not getting sunburned.
Yeah. So you're covering it.
Yeah,
Rin's
I think
covering
it would have been casually covered.
Drift kind of
I'm just small.
I'm the only person that wouldn't have it covered, kind of, or Drift wouldn't either.
True, but you get funny looks anyway because you're a big Warforged, kindled Warforged, and the bracer probably doesn't look as crazy on you as the others because you're metal and wooden and strange looking kind of. In terms of people that are around you, for the most part, people have just ignored you. You just look like vagrants on the road. You don't even look like merchants. So generally, people aren't that interested in you. They probably just believe that you're from the slum area outside.
That's awesome.
Of the walls. You do notice a couple of sideways glances from some people as you pass them on the road, and they 100% are looking at Drift's arm. For sure. Like they walk past, they look at you. It's like a sideways glance, and it's like if you just saw 4 homeless people walking around, but one of them had a fucking golden egg. You're just like, whoa, that's just unexpected kind of thing.
Right.
Not necessarily like they're like bandits going to jump you, but they double take a couple of times.
And this is something I notice.
You notice it, yeah, for the inside check.
I'm in general, I'm still kind of astounded by this whole thing. I have that first person like view of somebody like going into a large city for the first time and seeing a skyscraper or something. I have that kind of look on my face, that marveled look. I'm still a bit taken aback. This is what I'm talking about. This is truly a splendid place. And I kind of lean in towards Drift and I say, I see you're as taken with this marvel as I am.
See that? I point to like some crazy statue that's chiseled out and just perfect in every.
Let's see. I wonder if you can see the statue. There is a statue in here. But I
know.
think,
19 is actually just as excited as the other two, by the way.
You actually can't
19,
see the statue, but you can see the palace. The palace is fucking awesome. The palace is by far the most amazing piece of architecture here, and it's on the west side of town, so you have a good view of it coming in. It goes up. You have to go up onto a natural-made plateau, so it's on top of a natural-made plateau, and then there's this huge white-walled marble, stained glass, red-roofed palace with domes and peaks, and
God, that's lovely.
It's real nice with the sun glinting off the whites of the wall. It looks legitimately regal.
And I take the time to like lean in towards Drift and I say, Drift, it might be safe for you to perhaps maybe hide that piece of, it appears there are several people that are taking an interest in us, and I don't think it's for any reason except for the bracers that we are carrying, the very shiny, gem-encrusted. Seems to be a rather downtrodden place. Hard up for money?
You're gonna try and sell your bracer.
Oh dear.
No. I'm implying that they might try to take your bracer off of your cold, dead body.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. And I just look for I guess I'm wearing like medium armor, so I must have something that like can pull down, right? Like, sort of.
I doubt your armor really covers it. Let me look
What about the cloth under me?
You will have under your clothes. You'll have some like whatever you have, probably traveler's clothes for you.
Cool.
So you probably have a tunic where you can pull down the long sleeves, maybe, or you can have a coat or a robe. I will remind you all that all of your clothes are destroyed. Like you look really like pretty fucked up. You've been involved in a lot of shit: an explosion, a fiery temple, the sweat, the dirt, the mud, the fights.
Yeah.
Pretty mad looking.
I'm going to say, so this place, has anyone been here before?
Yes.
You have? Oh, excellent, 19. So, if I may ask, do you know of a place where I may perhaps locate an establishment of some sort to care for my loot, possibly a luthier?
This is where a local knowledge button would be nice, but I think for you, I guess a history check probably would make the closest sense. So we'll go with the history check because you can add in any history bonuses that you've learned from anyone along the way. History. So
15.
What you know about you probably don't know like where someone sells stuff for loot. You probably just have never really taken an interest or even really seen any much bard stuff going on. There's probably been a couple of people that have played a flute or something and you've been like, oh, that's music, and then you learned music at some point. But what you do know is that there is a massive merchant district in Roseguard. Like, there's a good section, sort of central eastern side of the city, which is just nothing but merchants. Nothing but merchants. And it leads all the way up to the river, where there are little canals and barges and a whole docks district with various merchants. If they're, like, this place probably sells everything. As far as you're concerned, 19, this place sells everything ever. Like, you're the only person here with any real in-depth knowledge of what this place is like. And even then, I don't think you spent a lot of time here, because you're only a month old and you spent most of that on a farm. But the merchant district is massive, and if it can be sold, someone's probably selling it here. Specifically, you're not sure, but it wouldn't be for sure. There's a place.
Good. Just want to make sure I'm good. I don't want to interrupt anybody else.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you.
So the first thing that you see is when you asked him the first question, you noticed that he was just looking, and it's almost like the sun was glinting off of his face. Like, say you were gonna have like a camera come around his face, like, and the sun would just pop off. He looks just as happy to be back in this area as you two for being here the first time. And as you kind of ask him that second time, you kind of see him. He's standing up straight, almost like the little wind you can kind of see, kind of blowing the little bit of like cape thing he's kind of got going on. And he kind of loses himself for a second and kind of doesn't listen to you for a second. Like, so he can hear you, but you might have to ask him again.
I'd sort of like tap with my fingertips. Hello, 19?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. You seem to wander off a bit in thought.
Yes, I know this place decently well. To answer your question, there's a very large merchant area. I have a better idea than that if you're trying to find something specifically. This is where John lives. He's on one of the farms outside of the city, close to the merchant area. If you have any questions about anything in the city, you would be a good person to speak with. And I won't lie, it would be good to see him.
I don't really know if I want to meet John, to be honest.
Oh.
May I ask why?
Well, when I was in the box, you told me about John, and I don't know, you said it was okay to die. I'm not dead, and it sort of freaked me out, to be honest.
Yes, John is a straight shooter, is what I was told. That's all. He just does not beat around the bush. He won't lie to us. He won't. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I just have this reoccurring memory playing back in my head of just being stuck in that box and really thinking I was gonna die. And the only thing I kept hearing is about John the farmer, John the farmer, John the farmer, John the farmer. And so I mean, I'll meet him. We can definitely. Let's go see him. But I just want you to know.
Well, you don't have to go anywhere you don't want to go. I was honestly just making a recommendation that if we go to his farm, we'll be close to the merchant area, which is good, because I would assume all of you would like to carouse that a little bit. And also, if you've never been here before, and I look over both Eero and Drift, the merchant area it's quite splendid. If you think this is a marvel, wait till you see all the people selling, well, just about anything you could think of. It is one of the biggest cities. They have almost anything you could think of. And if we go to the farm, to be honest with you too, we will probably have a place to stay while we are here.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds.
I think before I meet anyone, I would like a change of clothes and a bath.
Yes, that sounds quite wonderful. But if I may say so, I've got a particular interest in perhaps locating, well, some sort of, I forget the word that was used, some sort of, well, I'm looking for a place to perform. Let's see.
I I am almost guaranteed in my mind that there is somewhere you could perform. Once again, I want to make this very clear. If you would rather go somewhere else, I will not be against it. But if you're also looking for a change of clothes, something simple, and I kind of look over Rin because it's kind of simple robes, right?
Mhm.
He would probably also let you use his bath and also give you a spare set of clothes. You're with me.
Oh.
We have a very close bond. He could probably help us out a lot and probably help us out without you having to spend extra money. He's
Oh, well,
very,
that's-
very wealthy.
That's very kind.
I mean, this is just incredible. So, whatever we do, I'm in.
I really want to take some time to appreciate this place. I'm looking around. I'm like touching all of the stuff and.
Oh, you're not in yet. You're not in yet.
Into the
at
city? We're still outside the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I feel like you guys are probably discussing this as you come up to the gate, but for sure, you guys and the way you look, one of the soldiers here that's at the gate holds a hand up to each of you. He at first glances at the three of you that aren't a Warforged, and there's a look on his face that it doesn't look like he's too pleased to see you. But you know, you don't look good either. He then turns to 19 and says, "Excuse me, are you kindled?
Hmm.
And
No.
are you still enlisted?"
I think we made a decision when we first made this character. He's not enlisted anymore. Am I correct?
No, pretty much every Warforged is immediately unenlisted.
After the kindle.
And you can re-enlist, but you're a fresh-born person, so you need to go through it all again. And they know that you lose all your memories and stuff, so you need to retrain.
I am not enlisted. No.
Right. Well then, the questions. One question each, and then he leans in a little close to.
Questions?
Yes, you'll wait your turn. And he looks up at you, 19. And he says, "Why are you here?"
I would like to answer your question and also tell you everything. We are here to speak of Drit and to inform those in charge of what has happened at Drit, which some of you may already know, because I'm sure a scout has potentially returned. We're here to give the pre-warnings of what we saw, tell them what we saw, and also we're here to, and I look over the rest of the group. It's been a very long journey. We're here to clean up, spend some gold, find somewhere, potentially go see. I think you would know him. His name is John. He runs the farm south of the merchant character, the quarter. We are also here to potentially go see him. He is who I went with and met with when I was first kindled. He showed me a lot, taught me a lot, explained a lot of the city to me. We are here to spread that news to the people that need to hear it in high command, and also to take care of ourselves. Clean up, sleep, eat, all of the above.
He at first he's just so not interested in you, and then he kind of realizes what you're talking about, and he says, You've traveled from Drit.
Correct.
You are one of the survivors? We've had word.
Yes, we are.
Right. Well, good to see that you're safe. Give me a charisma check, just a flat charisma check, 19.
I've never had to click charisma on here. I feel like I'm blind right now.
Just the button on the left, the main big button with the
Oh, you want me to hit like a flat
ability,
just a
charisma check?
flat charisma check, yeah.
7.
A 7. Yeah, he's kind of like he's looking you guys over and looking at how you look and stuff, and he says, "Yes, well, we did get some word, though I believe that they sent out scouts already. So
We met some of them, in fact, and we helped them.
Some
Ah.
of them stopped in Green Hill and should be on the way shortly.
right, very well." He turns his attention to you, Rin, as you speak, and he says, "You, what is your occupation?"
I'm a monk from Daroon. Daroon monk.
Give me a charisma check.
Oh boy. I look like Trev.
Another save.
14. Oh, sorry. My bad.
It's a 12.
You're,
You didn't wanna
you're
save,
not,
right?
You're not. It doesn't matter. It's the same roll.
She's not proficient.
You're
yeah,
not
yeah.
proficient, so it's fine. He looks you over and says, "Oh, a monk. What religion is that?"
Well, we're the
Daroon.
Daroon monks. So we take care of those who are addicted, soldiers.
Right.
We
Okay.
should have a temple here.
Or tell me you flirting with him right now. Tell me you giving him the eyes. Ooh.
He looks disgusted at you, and he doesn't seem to have any idea what you're talking about. He says, "Right, yes, of course, and another religion." He turns to you, Drift. He says, "You, where are you from?"
Who? Me?
Yes, you, child.
I'm from the Killish Ruins.
Give me your charisma roll now.
Dude. Sorry. Charisma, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh!
Damn.
Yes!
He is.
Believe me, motherfucker!
He's just like, hey, you're from the Killish Ruins.
Yes, you maybe have heard of me?
Yeah.
Drift?
No.
Cursebreaker?
Oh my god.
No, I've not heard. I'm afraid I haven't heard of you. I didn't know
Has
there
word-
were any survivors from Killish, and then you went to Drit, and the terrible things
Yeah.
I've heard.
Has word not traveled here yet?
He says, yes. We've had word. I don't know if it's quite public yet, but so you're a 2 times survivor.
Yes, I'm friends with all of them.
Oh right. He he says, and what was your name?
Drift.
Drift.
The curse breaker.
Curse breaker, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was Cursed Driftbreaker.
Curse
No,
Driftbreaker.
that was not what I was given.
I've been getting it wrong this entire
Is
time.
his name not Drift Cursebreaker?
No, my name is Drift Cursebreaker, sir. I am Drift Cursebreaker.
Or was it Break Cursed Drifter?
No, there's no break curse drifter. No, don't, dude, sir, please don't listen. Why are you laughing? Don't listen to
The
them.
dude is not smiling.
It's
He
just
is
Drift Cursebreaker.
wide-eyed looking at you, but he turns to you, Iridu, and says, "And how long are you staying here?"
Ah, hello, my good man. A pleasure to see you. As my friends have said, we have recently come from Drit, stopping along the way at Green Hill. I'm not exactly sure how long we'll be at Roseguard, but I have to say it is quite an impressive city. All of us have been very, very tired, and we've encountered several ordeals along the way. I myself am hoping to stay here for quite a while. That is if your city, well, will have me. Of course, it seems quite up to you.
Give me a charisma roll.
Nick, hard one.
He's a
Here it
bard.
comes. I know, hard one. Here it comes.
Wouldn't be the first time.
19?
Nice.
Oh my god.
19's in the chat.
That charisma
One in
though.
there. There's a one in there. I'm
Is
still
your
right.
is your loot on show?
My loot is definitely brandished. It was probably brandished as soon as Drift started talking about the Cursebreaker.
He says, you will, of course, a loot player is always welcome in town. You really...
Not simply a loot player, my good man. I'm sorry. My name is Eero. What is your name?
I'm Lieutenant William Boulderdown.
Boulder Down. You know, that sounds familiar. I believe my good friend, my very, very good friend, Captain Gregor in Stonesworn, mentioned you.
Gregorin? You know Gregorin?
Yes. Of course, and Emstride as well.
Emstride,
We
we've been
became
drinking.
very, very fast friends.
Yes, yes. Well, of course, they get sent out all the time. I'm stuck manning the walls, and they're off having adventures and having all sorts of fun, no doubt.
So the captain actually gave Trit his name.
He throws you a filthy look as you speak to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the captain gave you his name. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Well, you see,
Nothing.
we helped them with a rather difficult circumstance. A few of their page boys were abducted by a strange creature. And, well, all of us equally were very up to the task of helping. But one of us, and I motion towards Drift, and this is like, I'm starting to like just tool around on the loot, and I just say, one of us was so spectacular that he managed to save the page boys, he managed to save M-Stride, and managed to save Captain Stoneswarm as well. And I motion towards Drift.
He says, the page boys, was one of them called Jothan?
Jothan. You know, I'm not sure if we got their names.
Oh,
It sounds familiar.
One of the pages on is Jothan Boulder Down, second cousin of mine. Really don't know him too well, but yes, I do hope he's okay.
It sounds familiar. It might have been him.
Say that you saved him, boy.
Yes, that is why they call me the Curse Breaker. I saved
see.
many people on that day.
So you're sort of a traveling mercenary, is it?
If you will.
He turns around and he motions to like one of the other soldiers behind him. He comes over and he says, "These two here," pointing at Iridir and Drift, they're heroes of sorts. I was of course going to have the Inquisition see to them, but I don't think it's necessary. We'll have to see them through into town.
Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude and interrupt you, but I have to say that our two friends here have joined us, and they took part of the events as well. They are invaluable.
Oh, is that right? He looks at 19 with a little less repulsive look, and just absolutely scowls at Rin. Well, yes, of course. Well, I'll see you two into the town then, and you can find somewhere to stay. Yes?
What about our friends?
Well, I'm sure they'll be joining you, won't they?
Well, from your hesitance, I'm questioning if that's a possibility.
He says, I assume that you've heard of the Autumn Festival.
No, please, tell us more about it. I'm very intrigued.
Well, yes. Every year there are
looking
two
for performers.
Yes, I'm sure they are. And they'll be looking for heroic types as well to take part in the melee contest. And I was wondering whether perhaps we could put your friend here forward, if he's such the swordsman.
He's not the only one. If you are looking for rather, well, talented individuals in the regards of combat, then I'm afraid my friends are far more skillful than I am. I'm merely here to put on a good show.
He looks again and says, yes, this Warforged, of course, they don't often partake. And he leans in a little closer to you and he says, you must understand, with the Autumn Festival coming up, the city is bustling and it brings all sorts of unsavory types. Often these sort of paganic, ritualistic, religious types come along just trying to swindle people out of gold. Understand? I really do prefer to avoid them. It's no fault of your own that you spend time with these lowborn monks, as they claim to be, but realistically, you could spend the time with us. You've done well by my cousin. I have a stately residence in the noble district. If you'd be willing to join me, perhaps we could have a drink, Curse Breaker.
I look over to Eero.
I look back. So
I'm sorry to put
I've been tooling around on my loot for a little while this is going on. I'm trying to kind of enhance the performance. However, I also have a certain ability that I would like to use right now.
Okay. I would like, for the record, there's like a few soldiers around. Like, it's not just this dude. He's just the one speaking to you.
How many?
There's probably at least 10.
10.
Oh, God.
Just like if you're gonna be
Okay.
doing like crazy hooligan shit, you're not like on your own. There's a lot of people around.
I'm using enthralling
Jesus.
performance.
Right. Okay. I don't know what this is. Go on.
Basically, if I'm performing for at least a minute, I can attempt to inspire wonder in my audience by singing, reciting a poem, or dancing. In this case, it's sort of just
Awesome, dude.
accompaniment. Up to a number. I can do this. Choose a number of humanoids within 60 feet who watch and listen to all of it, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. Each target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by me. While charmed in this way, the target idolizes you. It speaks glowingly of you to anyone who talks to it, and it hinders anyone who opposes you, although it avoids violence unless it was already inclined to fight on your behalf.
But doesn't that, just to remind myself, when that's over, doesn't he know he was bewitched? No? Okay.
Not in this case.
Okay, awesome.
If a target succeeds on its saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to charm it.
Yay, okay.
Very cool.
All right. You want me to roll that?
Wisdom
Yeah, you're
saving
doing this.
throw. Yeah, so my charisma modifier is a 4. So four of them. I would assume the 2 that are right next to me. Whoops, I'm sorry, I didn't
The
mean
main guy for sure.
Yeah, I'll roll for this guy because I think if you're just playing on the loot, I was just wondering if you were going to cast like a full-on spell or whatever.
Nope.
Oof.
Fuck.
17.
Yeah, that's a save. 14 is the DC.
Yeah, he's still pretty interested in like everything you have to say though. Like even without the straight up fucking charm, he seems to be very interested in you and very interested in Drift. He doesn't seem to be very interested in 19, and he is downright disgusted by the presence of Rin for some reason. And though you're just playing this thing, and he's still like the effects haven't taken hold, and I think you'd probably be aware of it. He still looks like he's kind of almost under the effects of them anyway. But he while you guys are sort of there, he turns again to one of these other soldiers and says, "This is the Curse Breaker, and I think perhaps we could enter him into the melee contest." And the other one says, "Oh, yes, well, of course. After what happened to Madison, we're going to need somebody else. Yes, he's apparently a renowned fighter. He survived 2 attacks.
Is there a prize?
Sorry?
I'm sorry. Is there a prize?
A prize? For the contest?
Yes.
Oh, yes, if you win, bags of gold, they knight you, you have an audience with the king. It's absolutely wonderful, yes. And of course, those who enter you into the contest probably earn their own little bit on the side as well as the renown. And we have a lute player, one that can regale tales of your time. See, you understand? And the other one, yes, of course. Yes.
Is it to death?
What's that?
The fight?
Oh, no. No, I think there's only been 1 or 2 deaths this year.
Guys, I can probably get us in. Can I like whisper something? How far away are we from them?
Like right next to them.
Right
But
next to them.
they're also doing the same thing though. They're like not that bothered that you're there. They seem to be like very much talking like about you while you're there, but they're sort of saying like, yes, we can get that one to say that he was in Killish, then a survivor of Drift. That's fresh on the news.
This is like American Idol.
Yeah. Like, and they're coming up with like a yes. Well, it would probably as long as he can actually fight. It doesn't matter if he can fight, really, does it? Does it really matter if he
What do you
can
guys
fight?
think? Should I
don't
enter?
think it matters.
Of course.
Of course, you're the curse breaker.
Yeah, you can count me in.
Yeah.
Do you need multiple people for this?
Well, you have to understand, there are only 8 positions in the melee contest. It's really renowned for, famed knights of valor and, people who are somewhat known. Our last knight suffered a terrible, terrible blow to the side of the head, and he well, he can't speak. His tongue has swollen up. He can't see right. He's not going to be ready in 2 days. We needed somebody else to put forward, and I really was worrying that it would have to be me, but I don't want to have to do it, frankly.
Okay, I'll make you a deal.
Yes.
Let us in. Let us look around, get cleaned up, get ready, and I will fight for you.
There's like another guard that's walked over as well, who is just like giggling. That one. We're going to send in that little child against Godfrey. What if he has to fight
Careful,
Godfrey?
he might hear you.
They're like literally speaking. What is that? I'm sorry.
So I lean in towards Drift, and I start to play this like really sort of intense music, and I say, "Oh, just a child, you think? Watch this." And I lean in towards Drift. I say, "Summon your weapon."
I bring out, as he says that, I pull out my shadow sword, and but when I do it, I do one of those like very like capoeira kind of like around, like just a total Soul Calibur starting like, "What's up? I'm here" kind of move.
Yeah, and like 3-4 of the guards now are kind of like standing behind the one that you've been speaking to, and they all
Playing, like,
oh
really
yes,
intense music.
yes, very good. That's exactly it. Yes, you two, absolutely right. And they turn around. Right, no. We don't need to ask the Inquisition now. We're not going to involve those bastards. Right. Okay. You two, perhaps we'll have to meet somewhere. You can't do it tonight, obviously not. No, not with the ball. We'll do it tomorrow. Would you be free? Maybe tomorrow we can have a spot of lunch.
Oh yes, that sounds lovely.
You'll have
Absolutely.
to you'll have to dress a little better if you wouldn't mind. I can't be seen.
That seems like a wonderful idea. Do you know? I have to ask. We're looking for a few places. Perhaps you might be able to help us. I'm looking for Luthia. As you can see, my loot is in. Well, we've been traveling for quite some time, and I want to make sure that it is, well, absolutely sterling. And aside from that, I think we all need some new clothes. We've been traveling for some time. Can you make any recommendations?
Give me a persuasion check, mostly just to roll a dice.
Now, have I charmed any of these other guards that are here?
Let's roll them. Yeah, let's see. 1, yes. 2, yes. 3, yes. 4, yes.
Let's go.
They're all charmed to fuck,
They're-
dude.
Loving him.
Would I get advantage with this roll?
Yeah, for sure. 2 of those were a 1.
23?
23.
Shit.
Yeah, they like the others will start bustling forward. Yes, well, I know, Lutia, and the other one. Yeah, yes, we'll have to get you a tailor. Yeah, not for the elf. No, not the elf. Just you two.
I don't think you understand. Our friend Rin here is a very valuable member of the group. Not only is the curse breaker incredibly gifted, but Rin is also extremely talented in the art of combat. I saw her punch, I'm not joking, through the mouth of a giant saber-toothed cat. Killing.
These fucking city kids even know what the fuck that is. Oh, really? You punched it?
In the mouth.
Yeah, very uncouth.
Through the mouth.
That's impressive. The others are kind of like, oh, what a wonderful story. Yes. Disgusting. That's a wonderful story.
This is payback for Stygian Gate so bad.
Really, it's not. The others say, oh, well, it doesn't matter if she can fight, really. Can you shoot a bow, elf? There's an archery contest. Maybe you can cast some magic. There's a magical contest, but really, we have our melee contestant, don't we?
19 lets out a
Curse
huge
breaker.
and it like shakes a little bit of the area around him because it's such a loud hoof. Just saying that.
They say, right, yes, of course. And they look, there's like maybe a few people backing up now behind you. A couple of carts have come to a stop. You can hear a merchant like, oh, come on! Yes, hold on, sir. Right, we're going to have to continue with our work. We'll arrange something tomorrow. Perhaps if you two could meet us for lunch. And he quickly, and they scribble down an address, and I'll mark it for you when you need it. They say, meet us here for lunch. We'll provide you with a nice lunch. You'll just have to go and find some clothes. Now, there's a luthier in the merchant district. He's up by the wash. His
the
name
wash.
is Kethend.
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 What
Yes,
the
yes,
hell's
yes.
that name?
Yes, you'll want to go and see him. You don't want to go down in the slums and find some poor, degraded old strings that'll break the moment you try and pluck them. And you want some clothes, yes, fineries. How much money do you have? You can be honest.
I do.
Probably more than you.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll say that. 100%.
He just scoffs at you. Yes, of course.
My favorite Brad character.
He's just like looking at Iridir and speaking entirely to Drift and Iridir. Well, I tell you what, you go and see him, tell him that the Boulder Downs will be footing the bill, and if he doesn't believe you, I'll send a page boy in the morning. So go there before. Don't go there today. Go there tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. And where was that again?
And you want some clothes, of course. A tailor.
Yes.
You should go and see my private tailor, Jacqueline Crew. That's not how you spell
The
Jacqueline.
the worst you've ever done, Brad.
Jacqueline Crew, NPC
Yes.
generator. Jacqueline Crew.
You didn't do it intentionally?
No.
No.
You guys understand why I'm balking, right?
No idea.
What's
I
Jacqueline
missed.
Crew?
Oh,
From-
J. Crew.
Yeah.
Still don't know who that
That's what I
is.
thought too.
It's an American thing. J.
Yeah,
Crew.
J.
You never
Crew.
heard of J. Crew? Oh, jeez.
Oh
Holy
wow! It's a
shit.
fashion thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is where it began. That's perfect. I shit you not, that was an NPC generator. Look at this. Ignoring all the rest of it, I'll put it in our thing because I can't show it on the bullshit.
That's hilarious.
I just clicked a button for a name. That's not what the age and everything is all wrong. The man gives you like an address and says, make sure that the Boulder Downs. I'll give you his name as well, just so you can make sure you got it right. Sent in. So he, just for the record as well, is he's got like short cropped blonde hair and very like nice teeth, which is important. I know it sounds silly, but that's how you can spot a noble from a mile away. Other than that, he's in uniform, so you can't really make too much else out about his physical state. He looks relatively thin and well kept. He says, right, well, off you go. You're obviously free to move about the city as you wish. The festival is in 2 days.
One more thing.
Yes.
Do you know of any decent establishments where we might stay for the evening, or where I may perform?
Yes, of course. Just down the main street here, you'll come to the Iron Well Inn. They tend to look for lute players, storytellers, that sort of thing to perform. As far as I'm aware, they often give out a free room, but the festival is here, and I do believe that all of the inns are filled, so you're really going to have to make a case.
Oh, don't worry. I think I have that under control.
Yes,
I
of
also
course.
have a question.
Oh, yes.
Is the armor smith still here that was working with the Warforged?
Armor Smith with the Warforged. Yes, of course, your kind. Very likely, I'm sure.
I'll remember I speak with him to remind him of the Warforged that saved all of this humanity that is in front of me and the rest of them.
Yes.
I'll make sure I remind them of that, like most people need to be reminded.
Yes, of course.
Just
and we
kinda
thank you
scoffs.
for your service. Decided to leave the moment you woke up, but they laugh. Yeah, yes. Yes, perhaps you should go.
Pardon me, what was that you said?
I'm sorry. I said you can move along now, sir. Remember the Iron Well Inn, just down here on the main street. You can't miss it. One of the largest buildings on the right-hand side, just before you get to the canal.
You see 19 actually look upset for the first time. Like,
Thank
not like
you.
a different kind of upset.
Thank you, sir. I sort of like
Yes.
hit 19 on the back. Thank you,
Course.
sir. Thank you. I sort of like grab his
breaker.
hand and like he's not
Yeah.
moving and I'm moving him. I'll see you tomorrow for lunch.
See you tomorrow for lunch. Yes, and don't bring the elf.
I'll be there, and so will she, don't worry.
I'm sure they'll
We
let
walk
them
along.
in. They won't let them
Have a
in.
nice day, Lieutenant.
And you too. Do say hello to your fellow monks.
I have a question for you, Brad.
Yeah.
I have a scroll for Unseen Servant as well. Cantrip. Can I use it now? Is it instant, or do I still have to do the ritual?
Oh no.
A scroll you can straight up cast.
And it's one-time use, right? It's like done.
Yeah,
once you-
yeah.
Oh, fuck it. I don't care. I'm using it.
Give me an Arcana roll. So the way I do scrolls. What level is it? It's a first level spell, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so you just got beaten 11.
Okay. God damn it.
You just pull the scroll out, you whisper some like words in Sylvan or something like and it just burns up in your hands because you fuck up half the pronunciation.
Okay, but while that happens, I want to be looking at the lieutenant. I want to look at the lieutenant while I do this, and it burns up, and then I'm just gonna have a nice day, Lieutenant, and I'm gonna walk inside.
Very interesting trick. Yeah. As you walk away.
Oh, you meant like actual trick, not.
You can hear them suddenly start speaking, but it's for sure about like the melee contest. Oh, what luck! Yes, I can't believe it. Absolutely splendid. And you guys head into the capital city of Rosegarde. Would you like a map? Bam. Bitch.
Yes. Can we see this?
Yeah. There you go.
Show this. Oh man.
Wow.
This is my type of shit.
Welcome to. Now this is really hard to show on the stream, by the way. I'm
This
sorry
is
because of the way
huge.
Roll20 is set up.
Oh my God, John's farm is marked.
John's farm is here, so I'll give you a quick
I thought
tour.
that has been fake this entire time. I'm not kidding.
It practically was. And then it became one of the largest of 3 farms. John's a big deal. John is a big deal. So you've got you guys are over here. I'll just mark it in case you guys are wandering around over there at the west gate. Coming in. So this is I've just marked some like main locations. There's fuck tons here. Fuck tons. It's huge.
Okay.
You can find a lot of stuff. Pretty much anything you probably want to find, you can find it here. There's a lot of shit going on, but the main things and the things that are important to the city are here. You've got Mull's Farm, which is the farms that you've been kind of like wandering past. The Ironwell Inn is ahead of where you guys are. There's that obvious palace, and the area there is kind of like a noble district as well. There's a theatre. There's the Inquisition, the Guild of Knowledge, John's Farm down at the south. Couple of towers, monument, couple of temples. There's a huge, great, amazing bridge because bridges are fucking impressive, and this one's super impressive. And then you have the whole military district, which is like completely restricted, but 19 will know of. Inside of that, there is a huge dome which houses the wyverns that they sort of domestically train, and the warforged ride around on. Above you.
Who made this map, Brad?
That is made by Anna the Newt and me.
Yes.
I also did my part in annotating. This is Roseguard. So it's sort of centered on this, like the south side of this massive part of the river. The river is here at its widest point for sure. It's about a mile across. So it's really far, and you can kind of work out how big the city is from this as well. Again, in terms of our cities and stuff, it's not fucking huge, but in terms of cities in this current world, this relatively young world, it's massive. It's by possibly the biggest city in the world, at the center of the world, and it's got just everything. There's all sorts of people from all over the world, from all over the continent. It has all these canals that are running throughout as well, and they do use it as a mode of transport, but mostly for sort of like those that can afford it, like the noble elite, as well as a lot of merchants that deal in bulk goods and things. Not many people travel by the rivers in Thelmecia in general, the whole country, but some people do. And now that the river gets quite wide and then heads up towards the north, they use that part quite a lot. So there are barges and boats on this river. They're not huge, but they do use it. And there's a dock here that deals with all of that sort of stuff. So the river will split up, and the road now heads up towards a harbour on the west side of the country, and then Deep Wallgate, which is that huge thing in the center which splits Lennardale and Roseguard as countries. So the city is kind of split into several main sectors, which aren't like really shown on this, and I can kind of probably do a thing for next time that shows what's what. But you basically just have these farms. There are 3 farms. There's this northern farm, Kel's farm. Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Mullen's farm,
Yes.
and John's farm, which are pretty enormous farms of their own accord, and they provide different types of agriculture and things. There's even a quarry as part of Kel's farm. So each one sort of deals with different things. Some of them cross over with a lot of stuff, and there's some crossover, I don't know. Then you have this merchant district. So again, the merchant district is kind of the area between where that temple is, well, where the 2 temples are, Lathander's temple and the Roseguard temple. There's just this entire section kind of here that comes down here. And then this bit where the Silts is a merchant district. There's also this area here, which kind of serves as a bunch of like high-end, fine merchant shops, which is the shop. That's the area they told you to go to. But the area that 19 is more aware of is just the enormous merchant area that just serves as this central part of the city. The whole place has these massive walls around it, so even while you're in the city, you can kind of see them for the most part. But there is obviously an enormous part of the city on the outside of the walls as well, in the form of those kind of slums. On the inside, the residences are okay. They're not too bad. It's just your typical sort of fantasy setting. So it's like cobblestone roads and sort of dirt gravel paths everywhere, with generally reinforced wooden, timber reinforced stone houses of varying shapes and bricks and types. But on the outside, the further out you push, it becomes kind of a shanty town. Like a lot of people have huddled up to the edge, because this city is beautiful and it's huge and it's nice. But again, there is still this kind of post-war depression. And although everything looks shiny and looks nice here, there is just a little edge where this war is over and everyone's okay about it. But there's a bottom line which has grown a lot larger in the last 13 years since the end of the war. And that's very obvious by the walls. The walls split to this slum. And you saw it on the outside, and it's a super shanty town. And there's a lot of beggars in the city as well. So that's the end of this episode. I think it's a good place to end it, and we'll just let you guys go crazy and explore. In 2 days is the Roseguard Autumn Festival, the melee contest, archery contest, and magical contest. In 1 day, you've got a meeting. And you've also got all the other things you want to do while you're here.
John's farm.
You want to go to John's farm.
Inn.
You can probably split up as well if you want. Don't worry. In general terms, without being specific, it's pretty safe here. It's a very, very safe city. It's a huge military presence, and the place is policed relatively well. So, good place to end. Welcome to Roseguard. I'm sure we'll be here for a little while.
I'm gonna get my statue.
You got things that you need to do. You got stuff that you want to do, and there's going to be stuff that happens as well. So we'll probably be here for a bit. There is a lot of
stuff.
There's a lot of shit here that you can do. So think about what you want to do and prepare to do it. I'm sure we'll start.
Also,
out
Anna,
next
this
week
map
by
is incredible.
Doing that thing.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Is this the craziest city you've ever had? Like,
what do you mean in terms of how it
on
looks?
any of your campaigns?
I've made a couple of big cities before. I put a lot of effort into this one because I knew that a huge part of this campaign was going to hinge on this place. And it's also just very important for this whole fucking world that I've built, because it's one of the first big civilized cities that ever existed, ever.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty big. Thorelian was pretty big from Fractured Worlds. I put a lot of effort into that. You guys explored it a little. And I also, when I ran Storm King's Thunder, I had to make, goddamn, what is it called? Mirabar, I think it's called. And for some reason, they just go, in Storm King's Thunder, they just go, yeah, they'll go to Mirabar. It's a big city. And you're like, oh, okay. what's there, and you just have to work it out and make it up yourself. So I ended up making up a lot of it myself. Yeah, so I just made that. They're probably the 3 biggest. And I ran Luskan before as well, which is another one that was made by Wizards. So there are some big cities, but this is for sure. I've already fleshed this place out a lot. And I know that you guys are just going to be like, the first thing we do is something you've not written down. And I'll be like,
Brad, would you say, since this is a place that you sort of like homebrewed and whatnot, you've got like a decent amount of NPCs here, right?
Yeah, one of them's called Jacqueline Crew.
Right.
Right.
Now, would you say that you need NPCs for this place?
Oh, you're asking me whether all the Patreon NPCs are here? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
He's trying to upsell. This is called upselling, Brad. You ever work in the restaurant?
No. Yeah, I know. The Patreon NPCs that people have made have been like, they made NPCs on Patreon. You can submit NPCs. Well, the first NPCs that people submitted were so complex that I was like, they're not just going to show up in episode 1 and be like, and then fuck off. And then you guys basically haven't met anyone apart from a couple of army guys, and it just didn't. All of the NPCs that I have a list of, I'm like, they don't need to be army guys. So I did actually have 2 of those NPCs on a random encounter, because they're kind of crazy like that. But now they're all here. Every NPC that I have on a list is in this fucking town somewhere.
Let's go, baby!
And they're on a fucking crash course with you, no matter what.
So what you're saying is people should send more for this place.
No.
Yes, send more.
They won't show up. All right. I'm putting my stamp of a non-guarantee on any NPCs because of how fucking difficult it is to try and get them into this. But no, now that we're in a city, I think you'll probably encounter some of them. Depending on how much you encounter them, we'll see. But yeah, I appreciate you guys putting NPCs in, and I'm sorry that there hasn't really been too much towns and civilizations. The first town I introduced you to exploded instantly, right? So I was like, where are you going to meet NPCs? So this is where it'll happen. So if you submitted an NPC, I'm sure they'll show up. If you submit one as of from now on, they will be ported straight into Sparkly Turnip instantly. I will just port them in, and that's how that's what will happen. You know, I'll just have them. They'll be in this campaign. It's just that off screen they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do this spell, and it'll be like, oh fuck, it's gone wrong, and I've teleported to another campaign. Where am I? Where am I? Oh no, I'm in Sparkly Turnip on a Sunday on Table Story. That's the end.
Killing it, guys. You guys are killing it.
This week's episode. Thank you, players, for playing.
So much fun.
Well done for avoiding the Cyclopses. And welcome to the city part of the campaign.
I will bullshit my way through everything.
I'm reading the book I'm reading is like just set in an enormous city as well, right? It's a fantasy book and it's just set in a city, and so I'm very prepared for this. I think mentally. Normally I'm freaking out about cities because it's a different way to DM, you know, because you have to you don't really know. You just go, there's stuff here. What do you want to do? And you have to hope that you guys don't immediately go to a potion seller and get arrested. Poo poo cakes. Just instantly. Remember that? The worst.
Lost my book.
He lost his book.
I thought you were gonna get arrested today, Ren.
I also thought I was.
Freaking out.
They generally don't give a fuck. Luckily,
19 was just as pissed as Ren was in that circumstance. Not even a lie.
I had a thing for like
real upset.
It's really not difficult to get into this.
Disrespectful human piece of shit.
It's not difficult to get into this town, but I did want to I kind of just wanted to kick you in the face with class divide instantly. And I also just had a thing where like eventually I was hoping that one of you would try and enter the tournament, and I was like, I wonder how they'll do that. Like, I didn't plan for that. I was just like, these fucking guards would fucking love to enter this fucking kid, and this fucking bard who gets to hype him up is gonna make them so much gold. So I was like, fuck yeah, that's the best way to force them. And now you're in the Rosegarde Autumn Festival.
I'm stoked for that.
Melee contest.
You do great.
8 swordsmen.
All of them are level 12 except for me. I'm level 3.
Well, one of them's called Godfrey the Gladiator.
Godfrey.
So.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Please give him that voice, please.
I'm a gladiator.
There's another one called The
Ready to
Tower.
fly.
Maybe he sounds like that. Thanks for playing. Let's do a round of shout outs and then we'll get out of your hair until next time. Let's start with the absolute bottom of the barrel. Disgusting. Please don't enter my town. Written on a stone.
Yes, I am the filthy monk, played by Pumpkinberry. Hello. And I am here on Tuesdays and Fridays and also Saturdays
Holy crap.
right now.
I gotta ask,
What?
do you just have asparagus wrapped around your mic stand? What's going on there?
Oh, it's...
It's a hand.
I thought it was a
it's a
stare.
hand. No, yeah, it's a hand from my scary pumpkin head. Because I like Halloween and I like Halloween decorations.
Speaking of the pumpkin head,
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think you guys need to check Pumpkinberry's clips.
Oh,
because there's really, really good clips that you need to see.
Oh, where a pumpkin head may make an appearance. And yeah, he's a character. So maybe you should check that out sometime. Otherwise, that's all I got. Thank you so much. I love being here. And I'll see you guys on Saturday, right? For the Stygian Gate finale?
The
Yes.
finale. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Stygian Gate on a Saturday. Pumpkinberry on Twitch. Give this young elf a follow because no one else in this bloody town will.
I know.
Well,
We're
you
gonna
ran.
fuck him up, guys. We're gonna fuck that dude up.
You ran into like the one couple of dudes. Not everyone's that bad. I mean, you guys look horrific though, walking up to that gate.
I can't wait. I'm gonna get a makeover and then I'm gonna go punch him in the nuts. It's gonna be fantastic.
Dude, this town is sick for your character, and we need
You're
to
totally
speak.
going to do that pretty woman moment.
I am. I'm gonna do the pretty woman moment. I'm gonna kick him in the nuts. Yeah.
Remember me now?
Yeah.
Well,
More
hello there.
And he's gonna pay for everything. Little does he know.
What about Mr. Tiger Writer, the Warforged?
Hi, my name is Tiger Writer. I
Warforged.
am a full-time variety
Warforged.
broadcast streamer person on Twitch. I stream Wednesday through Sundays. I start usually about 3 p.m. PST. If you guys want to come hang out with me, just follow my channel with that link that just got put in chat. Come say hi. If you like Twitter or Instagram, I got those. You can just Google Tiger Writer. It'll pop up. Thanks, everybody, for taking the time to come in. I appreciate you guys still watching, and I appreciate everybody that loves 19 because I like playing them. So thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I have asparagus wrapped around my mic stand?
Listen,
Like, actually, no.
that's the thing, is I have no clue, which is the same question I would ask you if you had asparagus wrapped around your microphone. Listen,
Is a snack for
love-
later or what?
I love that. Yeah, if you just reach in your mouth, you can bite off it real quick.
All
All right.
All right.
I keep carrots around sometimes.
If it was asparagus, it'd be a very, very genuinely needed question. To be fair, you know, if she was like, "Yeah, it is," you'd be like, "Right, what's that all about? We need to know everything."
Tiger's line is a really damn right it is.
John Sandman, the man with one son and no groceries.
Some groceries. Some.
One bag.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Giving that a fucking 10 out of 10, Brad.
I hope you,
Biggest you've ever given to anybody.
hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was so fun. I will serve you right, and I will fight well in that tournament. I'm so excited for that.
Your son
I'm-
lost all his
I am-
food.
Gonna go crazy.
I'll put it this way, John. If you fucking win that tournament, you'll be fucking sorted, mate. All
Yeah,
right?
like
You will be sorted.
can humans ride or well, you know, whatever. Can I ride a griffin? Is that a thing?
A
Or is that
griffin?
only
You
not a
can
griffin.
find and tame
Yeah.
a griffin.
No,
yeah.
what is the
The
what is
wyverns.
yeah,
Not really. That's what they're the Warforged mounts.
only
because they're-
Warforged.
The
okay.
Warforged are too
I
big
didn't
and
know if I
heavy.
could get like a flying mount.
Wait, hold on. So I can ride those motherfuckers?
Well, almost definitely in the before time, you were proficient in riding that thing, yeah. But
my
whether
God.
you use one of your roles to become proficient in riding one, and then also
If you get one, you gotta name it Poo Poo, though.
If I got one, would I be able to bring it with us on the journey and shit?
yeah.
Oh my god!
No!
I'll be honest though, the odds of you getting one is extremely low, just because I don't really know how.
Money.
Hero.
I don't know
hope
how
you
you'll go
understand.
about it,
19's
but
gonna use your charisma.
um,
Listen, I need you to.
you also
Excuse me, but my charisma is non-transferable.
you also really probably need a proficiency in it because wyverns are fucking nasty. They're like flameless, less intelligent dragons. They're like big fucking bastards.
Well, the good news is I'll get one chance. I'll take that roll.
But the reason that Warforged can't climb on horses because it will kill the horse. So they trained wyverns. They're the only things that they could figure out how to domesticate and fly around on. It ended up being the best decision ever. Because imagine a fucking great robot flying at you on a dragon. Jesus, it made me jump so much. There he is. One son, no groceries.
What, you laughing?
What's he watching? What's on that screen?
You guys.
Oh.
It's like this actual stream. Say hi.
Oh, he knows. Wow.
See, look, he's waving. See him all waving? Now he's looking at you guys right now, like live.
Ah!
He can't hear you.
Yeah.
Just saw a tiger. I look mad.
Wave at him. What's up?
No. He says, I'm done. I'm done with this. This is terrifying. All right. The most terrifying thing, Wax Steven.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for watching our show tonight. I'm Wax Steven, normally the DM or GM of Doom, usually on this channel because it has consumed my life. And I do a lot of stuff on here. I run a show on Fridays called Identity Crisis that will be off this week due to TwitchCon.
What?
Yeah, we're
2 weeks in a row?
yeah.
God damn. The show killer. The show killer.
And on Saturdays, I play in Stygian Gate with PB as the DM that is shaming myself, Brad, and Jay into obscurity. And Sundays, I run a show called Spark of Eternity that is a D&D 5th edition homebrew show with a very wonderful cast. Mondays, I run another show that's with Judge Dredd and the Worlds of 2000 AD, and Brad's on that, and it's called Sector 49.
My new
Probably check it
character this week, next week.
Hopefully you get a vampire
Ooh,
this
is there
time.
any spoilers for that new character?
No, zero.
I have an accent.
Okay.
Zero. But yeah, please, if you have not done so, follow all these wonderful people. They totally deserve it. And if you want to help support Table Story, one of the best ways you can do that is over at the Patreon. If we get $1,000, we're going to hit our first goal, which is to get one-shots on this channel. PB is totally our guinea pig, and we're really close to $1,000, but we're not quite there yet. We're almost there. I think it's like $80-something before we hit that.
You can do it.
Make that shit happen. We can make more one-shot type things happen on Table Story.
We need more eyes and we need more money because I want more emotes because I want a sparkly turnip emote.
It's gonna look
so
like
bad.
the fucking Stardew Valley, the winter turnip, or
Oh
whatever.
my
the fuck
God.
it's
I don't know what that is. Hang on, I want to
It's
look
just-
at that.
it's just
Winter
gonna- it's just
turnip,
gonna have
Stardew.
a few sparkles.
I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know. What the fuck is this? Snow yam?
Yes.
Snow
You're
yam.
a snow yam, gosh.
Oi, listen. I'm sorry that the guards were rude to you, okay? But that's not me. All right, it's a
Sorry.
big difference. I think
Also, they
Rin's
weren't
great.
rude to me. They were rude to Rin.
Exactly. Right, exactly. We're gonna find some fucking snap necks next time.
Don't worry. It wasn't the chainsaw. It wasn't me. It was the chainsaw that took your head off.
Oh no, it seems that your heads have turned around too far. Whoopsie doopsies. How could that possibly have happened? My name is Rin Honorstone, and I'm a goddamn psychopath. All right.
That's where we end it.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Remember, we are still on. So we'll see you then for Roseguard and more Darkfire.
Bye forever.